All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. The XB2 podcast is now live. I'm one of your hosts, Randall Thor 19, the man with the million. And we got Jez Corden with us, as always, Mr. Windows Central himself. Just woke up from a nap so we could hop on the show for the next, I don't know, however many hours we do this. And
oh, bro, it wasn't a nap.
It wasn't a nap. Okay.
My sleep cycle's cooked, man. It's absolutely cooked, and I just fully woke up. I went to sleep at 9 a.m. Fully awoke.
Oh, okay.
But
just making sure.
Let's not make me a target of the grifters, please. But I'm full of beans right now. Full of coffee beans, in fact. We're ready to go, man.
Yeah, we were waiting. We were waiting because you needed to get some drinks in you. So, yeah.
Do I sound okay? So, sound check.
I'm sure the chat will tell. I mean, you sound okay to me. I don't know how chat feels, how you sound, but you're sounding good. And of course, there's usually no problems because I'm the one hosting it. But when we did the show on Tuesday with John from day one, there was, of course, issues, as there always is with Jez when he hosts everything. For whatever reason, even though we've been doing this for like literal half a decade at this point, more than half a decade, there's always problems with Jez. It's almost like he does it intentionally. What do you have to say for yourself, sir?
I have to say, I've had a mountain of PC problems lately, so
you were telling me that your PC got delivered to the wrong house, or your laptop.
Oh god, man! Oh my god! It's the drama with this laptop is insane. So
yeah,
my laptop had some display corruption, and it happened after a Windows update. So I'm sitting there like, is this a software issue? And it's like, the display corruption was there even on the BIOS. So then I'm thinking, oh, this is a hardware thing. Then I discovered that I could fix it by putting the laptop into sleep mode and then waking it up again. So then I'm sitting there again thinking, hang on a sec. Surely if this was a hardware issue, I wouldn't be able to fix it easily by putting the laptop into sleep mode. So I couldn't figure it out. So I sent the laptop back to Razer, and Razer was like, yeah, we'll fix it and whatever. And so I'm thinking, great, I'm gonna get my laptop back in time for the showcase. And so they ship it back to me. The laptop's fixed. And then support sends me an email saying, can you confirm that your laptop's been delivered? Look at the tracking. It says your laptop was delivered today at 2 p.m. signed for by Jez Corden.
You're like, huh?
I'm looking I'm like, huh? Like that meme, huh? And I'm looking at the door, like there's no package there. Nobody signed for it. Nobody was home. I was asleep. And there's no like little letter in the letterbox saying, with DHL, we missed you. I'm freaking out now. This is a really expensive laptop, which I got, from work. And I'm freaking out a bit. So I'm like, where's this laptop gone? So I called DHL. And DHL's like, oh yeah, here's a photograph proving that we delivered it. The wrong fucking house.
And what they say when you said you delivered it to the wrong house?
They were like, oh, try and contact the homeowners. That was their advice. So try and contact the homeowners. They're not there. There's no one there. The car's not there. There's nobody there. Luckily, a neighbor was passing by, and the neighbor was like, oh yeah, they're on vacation, but the place where the laptop was gone. There's no laptop at their door. There's no box there. There's no boxes there.
Who signed for it?
Exactly.
So the people at the house are on vacation, but somebody signed for it? What's going on here?
DHL lied that someone signed for it. So the delivery guy was just like, I'm just going to drop this off and say someone signed for it. Thank God their neighbors took the package in and they gave it to me. So it was just like, so lucky. It could have been porch pirates, another delivery guy could have seen it and thought, oh, I'll take that. Super, super lucky, but don't use DHL. You can afford not to borrow that story.
Yeah, that's
But we've got a nice shiny laptop back,
nice.
and
Well, you're gonna be using it quite a bit next week, right? Or is it
I
next week or
definitely
the
am.
weekend? Yeah, it's next weekend, right? Or when are you actually flying into LA next week?
So I'm flying out on. So it's my Wednesday, and I'll land on my Wednesday because I'll be flying back in time.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'll lose 12 hours.
You'll
I
gain
actually like.
no, you'll gain 12 hours.
Oh yeah, I gain 12 hours, I suppose. But I suppose it depends on your perspective. But I'll yeah, it'll be as if like 3 hours have passed, I suppose. Even though it's a 12-hour flight. So I'm flying out Wednesday morning and I land Wednesday afternoon for LA, and then gonna be hanging out with some Xbox peeps on Thursday, I think, and then Friday as well, and then Summer Game Fest meetings on Saturday, and then showcase on Sunday, and then flying back home on Monday.
When is the Keeley show? Is the Keeley show on Friday or Saturday, or Thursday?
The I don't Keeley show, isn't it Thursday evening? I think I've been invited, but I don't think I'll be able to make it to that one because I'll be pretty out of it. But yeah, the focus for me is obviously the Xbox showcase at the end of the day, and the Summer Game Fest shows, they've gotten better over the years, haven't they? I think.
Sure.
There's obviously a lot of ads and sponsorships in there, but it's like it's quite expensive to put on a show in Los Angeles, so it's not completely unexpected that there would be a load of ads.
Yeah,
in
Summer
there.
Games Fest is Friday. It's Friday.
Yeah, it's Friday.
Friday at 4:00, and with everybody going to LA this year and Summer Games Fest being right during the podcast, I don't know if I'll be doing a show on Friday. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where it's like, because you didn't go. I wonder what did we do last year? You didn't go, or did you go last year to LA? I forget. You didn't, right?
I can't remember.
No, you didn't go because you went the year before, I think.
Yeah, I went the year before.
So I'm trying to think what we did for the show because I want to say Keeley's thing was on Friday, and it would have been during our show. So it's like, well, nobody's gonna want to watch. So it's like, did we just do the show on Monday? No, because then I don't know how we did it.
We could do it on Tuesday. We could do next week's show on Tuesday, but we'll figure that out later.
Yeah. So Friday there probably won't be a show because the Keeleys will be on it and everybody will be in LA. So either way, that's why this episode has our previews about potentially what to expect at the Xbox show. And thank you to Matt Booty for letting everyone know that Fable was delayed today, so nobody can include it in their predictions, I guess. Or actually, Fable could still actually be at the show. It just wouldn't have a 2026 release date, huh? So other than this laptop drama, everything good? Everything hunky dory? Are you excited to fly in? Are you excited to hang out with the peeps?
I am. I actually really enjoy long haul flights, to be honest.
Why?
I find them to be like meditative. It's like it's just you and no one. You've got an excuse not to be bothered. It's like, oh, you can't bother me right now. I'm on a flight. I love it. I actually really like long haul flights. You can just get wasted. It's just chill on the plane. I actually really enjoy long haul flights now. It's like the first time I did it, I was like, when I was like £430, long haul flights were miserable. But now I've lost I'm like £70 down from my maximum. I really enjoy it now. Maybe that's partially why I've got this frame of reference. Like flying when you're over £400, painful. Flying when you're like getting down to £300, it's actually quite nice. So yeah, I'm pretty happy about it. But also, I'm excited to see all the Xbox fans, and I'm excited to see like Xbox content creators that have been awesome. I'm excited to see Xbox peeps that I know. And every year that I go, I think this is probably going to be the last time I go. I've been thinking that for like years and years and years now. But this time it's like with the way things are going with artificial intelligence and my career and the job and stuff, increasingly I'm thinking like this actually might be the last time I get to go before Windows Central implodes. So I'm going to savor this one, Rand. This is a special one. It's the 25th anniversary of Xbox. Might be the last time that I actually get to go to one of these things professionally, and I'm going to enjoy it, man. And there's a load of games coming that I'm excited for. I'm pretty hyped for this one, actually, more so than probably usual.
Okay, interesting. So you know what? Let's do some housekeeping, and then we'll start the show proper, get into nice these topics and everything like that. So, yeah, welcome to the Xbox 2 podcast. This is episode, I believe, 409, if I'm not mistaken, on a beautiful Friday, May 29th, 2026. Do us a big favor, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Leave us a little review on iTunes or Spotify for listening there later. This episode, of course, sponsored by one of Jez's favorite companies, a product he uses all the time, and that's the Surfshark VPN.
It is indeed.
Yes.
Surfshark VPN. That's a shark noise for those who are new. Do you want maximum internet privacy? Consider Surfshark VPN, this week's epic podcast sponsor. Surfshark VPN is your all-in-one shield for private, effortless browsing. Whether you're streaming your favorite series, climbing the ranks in your go-to games, or just scrolling the latest trends, Surfshark keeps you covered with lightning-fast speeds and support for unlimited devices. Do you know what the fastest swimming shark is, Rand?
The fastest swimming shark?
The fastest shark.
No, I don't know. What is the fastest shark?
It's a surf shark. Actually, it's a mako shark. But
okay. I was like, man, this is random information. The fastest swimming shark, and you just know it off the top of your head. Okay.
It's a mako. It's a mako, bro.
Okay.
Do you not know about sharks?
I mean,
it's mako.
I know about sharks, but I don't know everything about. I mean, what a minute, off the top of my head, what's the fastest swimming shark, and I'm supposed to know that information?
I thought you read books. Anyway, it's the real fastest shark is a surf shark. For true internet freedom, Surfshark breaks down digital walls with ease. No more geoblocks, no more limits. Unlock global content, explore without borders, and enjoy a smoother, cleaner web. Thanks to Surfshark's Clean Web feature, which blocks ads, trackers, and malware, all before they slow you down. And with a strict no-logs policy, your activity stays exactly where it belongs, with you, thanks to RAM-based servers. Plus, Surfshark's advanced encryption wraps your personal data in serious protection, giving you total confidence every time you connect. Here's the offer. Xbox 2 podcast listeners get an incredible 86%. 86? For a 2-year Surfshark plan, that was an echo. That works out to just $2 a month. Take back your online freedom. Hit the link in the description to get started. And search safely, surf securely, and surf with Surfshark.
There you go. That was a good one.
Yeah. That was a good one. I do like me a mako shark, but that mako sharks are not my favorite sharks. Actually, Rand, my favorite shark is the Greenland shark. Do you know about the Greenland shark?
Can't say that I do. At least I can't picture it in my mind.
They think Greenland sharks live for about 400 years.
It's a long time. It's a long time to live.
400 years, bro. They are so. Look up anyone who's watching this who's interested in sharks. Look up the Greenland shark. If you've never heard of Greenland shark, they are the coolest, most sort of horror-coded shark ever. They are really creepy. They live forever. They eat exclusively corpses. They're pretty badass, man. They're like Silent. If Silent Hill was a shark, it'd be a Greenland shark.
I've always been partial,
and it would also subscribe to Surfshark.
They would. I've always been partial, and this maybe because of media, but great white sharks, man. The ruthlessness. Yeah, they just look like they will just screw your day up. You know?
That's a classic shark.
Yeah, it's probably like, because of Jaws and stuff, but when I see those, I'm just like,
what movie?
Jaws, bro. Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's a good movie.
It's a great movie. It still holds up today. How many years later? 50 years later? I think it was like what, late 70s when that came out, maybe early 80s. Great movie. Made me scared to get in water when I was a kid. I saw that stuff. I thought sharks would pop out of drains. Parents would be like, "Time to take a bath." I'm like, "No, I don't want to go in there. There's sharks." Or like go swimming in like the pool or whatever, and you get like terrified because you think a shark might show up. But it's this weird thing because like there's gonna be no sharks because it's a swimming pool, but yet there's that like slight like thought of, well, maybe
what if?
Yeah, like
what if?
Maybe there could be one. Like the imagination's running wild. Like, yeah, there's gonna be no shark in this bathtub, but what if there was?
Oh boy. Kind of makes me want to play that shark game. What was it called now? What was it called? That game that released
Maneater.
Maneater. Yeah, Maneater. Maneater was all right. It was all right.
Well, there was also
pretty fun little sandboxy game.
Limited Run Games also released like Jaws the Revenge game. Like they remastered the NES version of Jaws the Revenge. It came to every platform except,
I didn't even know that
except Xbox.
Oh,
yes, one of those. Exclusively not on Xbox. But anyways, we also have the wonderful members of Patreon, which I think, as we mentioned last week, line's always supposed to go up in the capitalist society, no matter what. But Jez decided, screw that. Line goes down. And you actually made all the tiers cheaper for everybody, yeah?
Yeah, I did. Our Patreon got 30% cheaper across the board, something like that. And I thought, line goes down. Everyone's struggling with cost of living and stuff, so let's make the Patreon cheaper was just my basic kind of logic. I didn't do any math. I just thought, yeah, I'll vibe price cut the Patreon.
Yeah, no, like speaking of like things
That's my approach to life.
Things being expensive, like my hot water heater went kaput, right? So it's like, and that sucks because it's like then you remember like, oh my god, cold showers, which I tell you, man, like it when you're just constantly used to hot showers and how great they are, and then you're like, oh crap, I have to take a cold shower. Whew. It is, you gotta like you have to psych yourself up to take one. You're like, all right, come on, we'll do this. Like slapping yourself in the face, be like, I can take this. But they came to like look at it to see what was wrong, and
thank God.
When they discovered what was wrong, they like came up. There's like, well, okay, this part needs to be fixed, and it's like, okay, how much is it? It's like $800, and I'm just like, okay. And there's like, but you could replace the whole thing for like $3,000. I'm like, but the guy's like, yeah, I know, like prices are out of control for everything. This thing a couple years ago would have been like $400, but now it's $800 and stuff. And it's like, Jesus, everything's super expensive, Like even when my family was here the last couple weeks, I know one of the days we everybody was in and we're like we were hungry, but like nobody wanted to like get in the car and like go get food, so we're like, let's Uber Eats something, right? And like people wanted Taco Bell, so I was like, okay, Taco Bell. And now I'm not the biggest Taco Bell person, but if I do get Taco Bell, it's like, okay, I'll get a soft taco, just a basic soft taco, right? Just some lettuce, some cheese, some meat or whatever. And I was like looking at the prices, and it was like $2.50 for a soft taco. I'm like, what is this, highway robbery? Like I remember,
bro, that's cheap.
When soft tacos were like 60 cents, not that long ago.
Dude, come to Germany. Like the prices in South Germany have become they fluctuate so much. Like put it this way: a tin of beans in England is about £1. A tin of beans in South Germany is about £3. It's nuts, bro. And as a beans connoisseur, I can tell you that is difficult living, man. That's difficult.
I guess so.
That's some more housekeeping.
Yeah, but
You've got a lot of super chats following too.
we'll get to him. We'll definitely get to him. So I want to make mention for the people in the Patreon, we did have an Xbox 2+1 with John Sickamechanico from Xbox Era. I mean, day one on Tuesday. It was actually a pretty long episode. I think we went like 3 hours. It was a lot of fun talking to John because he always ducks me whenever I come on their show. So it was nice to have him there. So if you need something to listen to, that is available. Exclusively for right now, but I think it'll be available for everybody next week on Jez's channel. The question and answer thread is up. If you want to drop us a question, we will answer at the end of the show. We've got some shout outs here for the Xbox 2 MVPs. We got Adam Bartolo, Alon Grogu, Asa and Madison, Battered Haddock, Benny, Briggs Country, Bright Chunger 1, Silas, Deku 2511, Discarder Caboose, NX, Fantasticals, Glenn, Governor Grimm, iMike Zero, Inner Machine, Jay Foley, James Moore, James Wiseau, Justin Duel, Just James 93, K-Trox, Laserwolf, Murray, Pat Rock, Frosty, RS Donk, Sean Kramer, Shay Elephant, Shrapnel, The Nordic Cannon, Trickster for Trey, Vito, I'm going to say this wrong, Shiramonte, William Kane, Wagerman, and Wolfgang KPZ. Thank you guys for all your continued support and all the new Patreon members. But Jez, we also have a Patreon producer shout out, right? What's that all about?
We do, yeah. So people on the highest tier Patreon can also drop links to their own stuff. So big shout out to James Wezzo, who's been one of our biggest supporters of all time. And he's started his own YouTube channel at GamerGuy-J. If you're looking for someone with a love for video games with a pretty casual outlook, then please check me out. James Wezzo says, I provide in-depth reviews, spoiler casts, and a quick look, but also informative content like game release calendars, showcase breakdowns. I'm not an industry bard, just a gamer with a passion. Hopefully I can provide a different perspective that resonates with you. Search GamerGuy-J on YouTube, and James Wezzo's link is also in the description. So big shout out to James Wezzo and all the Patreon producers. Also, the Patreon producers this week wanted to give a shout out to Gamers Outreach, a charity which provides gaming equipment to kids who are recovering in hospital. So definitely check out Gamers Outreach as well. And planning to do a charity stream, I think probably over the summer, like a 12-hour charity stream for Gamers Outreach. So we'll do some of that over the summer as well. So nice. Yeah, shout out to everyone on Patreon. You guys are awesome. And it's also 50% off currently for the Xbox Showcase.
Awesome. We have a super chat here from Rave Damos. Listening to the Xbox 2 is never a #hard decision. LFG, let's effing go. No, it's never a hard choice. Never a hard decision about listening. Just tune in. You don't have to. We're not stepping on rakes here at the Xbox 2, because why would we? We avoid them. We see them clearly. Mr. Winkle says, I'm guessing hard choices mean layoffs and studio closures. Prioritizing gamers who care most about Xbox sounds promising for Xbox fans, though. Maybe Xbox exclusives are coming back after all. Maybe. I don't know if we'll find out at this year's showcase. Probably not, realistically. I guess you can argue it's too early, and maybe that's they could hold that for later, if at all. Who knows what their decisions might be? But yes, we'll talk about the hard choices and what it could be. Shout out to Avalon for a super chat, but without a message. And Silas drops a super chat, says, do you think the reason Jez doesn't finish games is because he's grown up with classic retro games like World of Warcraft and Overwatch that have no endings? Classic retro games like Overwatch. Yes.
I actually finished quite a lot of games recently. I finished Mixtape, finished 007. I finished Still Wakes the Deep. Another game.
Mixtape and Still Wakes the Deeps are also very short games.
They are short games.
007 isn't, though. I haven't been able to, I have 007, I bought it. I have yet to play it, though. I was gonna start it this weekend. You wrote a review for it, which is, I
did.
I'm surprised. I didn't know if 007 was up your alley, but what'd you think of it? What'd you think of it? What'd you think?
I thought it was amazing. Yeah. I absolutely loved it. I mean, James Bond, like, if you're a Brit, James Bond's kind of like, it's kind of part of the culture in a way. Like, everyone knows James Bond, everyone's aware of the tropes, everyone knows, like, the memes and the culture around James Bond. So I kind of felt like it's a duty to my country that I review this game.
A duty to the country, huh? Okay.
A duty to the king. Yeah, it's a duty to my people. I gotta check this game out. But you know, it's a stealth sort of soft stealth game. I'm not a huge fan of stealth games generally speaking.
You know
I
me, I
dabbled.
love stealth games.
I know you love stealth games.
Yes.
You're a lot more patient than me. You are a lot more patient than me.
Yes, this is true.
But like I've dabbled with Hitman, but I always lose my patience and then just start want to shoot people.
Yeah.
So
but does it do? But does
patience.
this game do it well? Where you can play it stealth, and then if you screw up, it's super easy to like do the action and then kind of get back into stealth if you wanted to. It's like, does it mix the two play styles well?
Yeah, it really does. This is what the game does extremely well. Is kind of like every sort of layer of it, whether you're shooting, whether you're going, fist fighting, or trying to do the stealth. Every aspect of it blends well together, and you can seamlessly move from stealth into action or from stealth into shooting, and it blends the different playstyles extremely well. Much like the way Bond behaves in the show, and it never feels overly in the movie.
I didn't know there was a Bond show.
Maybe there should be a Bond show.
I mean, there should be. And now that it's owned by Amazon, they're probably thinking about making a Bond show. Although
they probably are. Yeah. But yeah, it blends all the stuff extremely well. Like I didn't have any expectations. I watched none of the marketing. I didn't know anything about it. I was kind of expecting like Hitman with a Bond skin on it. I wasn't expecting high quality writing. I wasn't expecting like high quality cinematics or motion capture or any of that stuff because they're not. I was not really known for that. Like Hitman's like good and it's very focused on being a Hitman game, right?
Yes.
And like I know they did like a more cinematic Hitman like a couple of games ago.
Hitman Absolution towards the end of the
Hitman Absolution, yeah.
PS3 gen. Yep. Which was not received very well by hardcore Hitman fans.
No, it wasn't. But it hasn't been like it's not something I would have expected from IO Interactive personally. I was expecting something a lot more Hitman-esque, but this it does have some Hitman DNA.
Seems like it's a lot like Hitman meets Uncharted almost in a way.
Yeah, that's how I've seen people describe it. It's like Hitman meets Uncharted, and I think that's a good description. But for me, it reminded me a lot of the original Metal Gear Solid. That was probably my frame of reference because I would have these situations
like the original Metal Gear Solid on the Nintendo, the original, or like Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, the original. No.
So not like the original Metal Gear, like on the NES, Metal Gear Solid 1 on the PS. Yeah,
Metal Gear Solid.
I think right, PS1.
Yeah, PS1. Yeah, PS1. So like in that game, it was kind of like you could stealth around a bit, but then you'd fuck up, and then you start punching people, right? And you do like the 3-hit combo, and then kick them down.
Yep.
It kind of, in a weird way, kind of reminded me of that kind of experience where you do stealth for a bit, and then I would fuck up, and then I'd start having to beat people. But it was so much more satisfying than that. Fighting never felt like a last resort. And then when you are fighting, it feels so contextual and very much like the Batman Arkham games. You sort of block in with the prompts, and then you can just like he'll dynamically use surfaces and smash their head into a wall or smash their head into a table. You can like reach for like a cup off the table and throw it and in their face, and then he'll pop some quip like, is it 2 sugars, mate? Something like that, some British witticism, sarcasm, and the game's full of that, by the way. It's all British sarcasm constantly. The characters are being sarcastic all the time, which is fantastic. If you're a British person, you know what that's like. And I just loved the whole game. Like the story was engaging, the characters were interesting. The only thing that I sort of pulled me back a bit was the performance on console isn't that great. It definitely feels like this was very much designed PC first, and I think that's like that's IO's DNA, which makes sense. I was surprised that the game looks and runs better on the Xbox Ally X. Like it felt like the Xbox Ally X had better lighting reflections. Even though and a better frame rate in quality mode. So like you could get like more quality and better frame rate on the Xbox Ally X than I could on the Xbox Series X. So it feels like there's probably a lot more optimization work they could do to improve it on console for me. But you know, if you can play it on PC, definitely play it there because I think that's where it probably shows up best. But I just loved it, man. I absolutely loved it, and I'm elated that it seems to be selling well, and hopefully it'll become a franchise. You know, because I do feel like these kind of games have just gotten increasingly rare in recent times, man. It felt like it doesn't do anything revolutionary, but I also think like it doesn't really need to. Like we haven't had a game like this in so long that it almost felt fresh, you know. And it's a very beefy game. It's like, you know, 15 to 18 hours. Like if you are trying to go for the challenges too, like do this whole level in stealth or do this whole level without getting caught. Like if you are going for the challenges, like as a hardcore stealth player, you'll get a ton out of this game. Like it becomes like more of a puzzle. Like how do I use the environment to get around this situation and that kind of thing. You know, there's a lot of room for that in the game. But yeah, I just dude, I just loved it. I just loved it. So I just couldn't not. I felt myself grinning a lot while playing this game. I was like, those cheeky bastards. Like it's very clear they had a lot of fun making this. Some of the set pieces and the scenes, it's like I could just tell, like some of the guys, I could just tell when they were making this, they were probably thinking that this is just classic Bond, ridiculous, over the top action kind of thing. They had a lot of fun making this, and it really shows. I love the game, and I'm really happy for Ion, man. Really happy for him, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to play it. I'm gonna play it this weekend. Probably get through it, and then move on to like because I bought like Lego Batman because you know me and Batman, like I gotta have it. So I was like, I made a decision to play that after I finished 007 because I wanted to play 007 first. So that'll be my next two games, and then maybe time to like Hades 2 is calling, so I might probably start that. But a lot of games to play. A lot of you know, next week is pretty big, right? We have State of Play on Tuesday, which, depending on where you look online, people are either saying it's going to be the greatest PlayStation show of all time, which I don't know. Like I see these random accounts being like, there's like so many big games at this PlayStation store, and the insiders know, but nobody's willing to break silence. And it's just some account with like 900 followers, and then like all of a sudden everybody's like retweeting it, and it's like got 1 million impressions or whatever. And it's just like, man, that's Twitter in a nutshell. Like you can say whatever you want, and somehow, you know, people take it as truth,
Ridiculous,
or is like real or whatever. But yeah, Sony's got their show on Tuesday, which should be cool. Always cool to see new games. Keely's got his show on Friday, and then Xbox's show is on Sunday. I think, is there a Nintendo Direct? Maybe I'm not really sure.
Know.
I don't really know if there is or not, but maybe there is or isn't. Either way,
It might be.
I don't care. Jez might, because he's now a Switch 2 fan. Because
I've always been a Switch 2 fan. What are you talking about?
Nah, sure. I think you're just late
No,
to the party.
I love Nintendo. Nintendo's awesome. I've always loved Nintendo. I think they're a really fantastic company. They treat their fans very, very well. You know, they're a brilliant company. What are you talking about? I love Nintendo. They're brilliant. I really love Kirby and Mario and Princess Peach.
Okay.
Did they make Bowsette official yet?
Bowsette?
You know,
I don't know.
You don't know Bowsette? You know Bowsette? No?
No. What's Bowsette?
You don't know Bowsette?
I mean, maybe.
You are so chronically offline, bro.
Maybe.
You are chronically offline.
I'm chronically offline when it comes to Nintendo stuff, I guess.
You're chronically chronically offline. Oh, speaking of being chronically offline, you'll be proud of me, Rand.
Okay.
I read a book this week.
Oh, yeah.
I read a book.
Was it actually good though? Did you enjoy yourself?
Yeah, it was.
Was it all? Let me guess. Was it 50 pages long?
It wasn't a long book.
Okay.
To be fair, I thought I'd start small.
Okay.
And work my way up. It was a novella.
A novella.
It was called A Short Stay in Hell.
Ooh.
And I read it because I was scrolling on Instagram, and for some reason, I got Book Talk algorithm on Instagram, and they were like, "Yeah, you should read this book. It's really cool. It's really short, and it's really messed up." And I was like, "Oh, messed up book. I'll read it. I'm bored." So I read it, and I just finished 007. So I was like, I don't want to play another game right now. So yeah, I read a book.
And would you
And I thought
recommend it?
Rand's gonna be so proud of me. I was thinking that the whole time I was reading this. Rand's gonna be so proud of me, and Joaquin's gonna be proud of me. All the book guys on the show are gonna be proud of me. And yeah, bro. Yeah, bro.
And was it good? Did you enjoy yourself?
It was amazing. It was really fantastic. It was a really good book. I enjoyed it.
What's it about?
Short Stay in Hell. Read it.
What's it about?
About a short stay. It's about a short stay in hell.
An actual hell, like hell?
So a Mormon guy wakes up in hell.
Okay.
And he's been sorted into different hells, and he discovers that it was the wrong religion. He discovers that it's in the wrong religion, and all the people there, they were following the wrong religion, and they get sorted into a hell where it's an infinite library.
Okay.
It's like a purgatorial kind of hell, and in this library contains every book ever written, possible to be written, every combination of letters ever written. You've got to find to get out. Yeah. It's a lot of combinations. To get out of hell, you have to find the book that's a perfect recreation of your life. Written out.
Okay.
But every single book in there has got like infinite combination of letters. And they're in there with like hundreds of other people, hundreds of other souls. But it's also like they can die in there. They've got to eat and all the rest of it. But whatever happens, they wake up again the next morning in purgatory, whatever. So, bro, the book starts off a bit like a comedy, but it devolves pretty quick into fucked up territory.
Interesting.
I recommend it a lot. It's a really, really cool book. I really enjoyed it. I was thinking, I could make a game out of this or a movie.
Maybe it will be a movie. Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe I think it might be.
Let's see here. We have OMG Turtle says, shout out to the Xbox2 podcast and community. Made the long nights with the newborn fly by. Ooh, well, congrats on the newborn, buddy. Hope everything's going well. Dusty AF says, finally able to catch y'all live. It's been years. Wanted to let y'all know I am still listening to y'all ramble every week during my commute to work. What do you think the price of Helix will be? Ooh, well, that is a question, isn't it? I guess it depends on what year it comes out. Because it's funny, you know, with these companies doing the price increases, right? Xbox has done 2. Originally, it was like a $50 price increase, then $100. PlayStation's done 2 as well, and I think their most recent one was $100, if I'm not mistaken. I think they're like this, like their base PS5 and the Series X are the same price now. Nintendo's doing one, which hasn't really happened yet. Like they announced one in advance, right? Where it was like starting in September. I think it's September is when the price increase happens, yeah? Although I'm not 100% sure. So everybody's done all these price increases. And everyone's just like, man, Gabe and Steam, they're the best. They're the best consumer-focused out there. All these companies just greedy and just slurping up money. And we got Gabe is just, even though he's on his yacht, and they're just the best. They're just the best. They never screw over customers. Best. And then, like, what was it? Monday this week or whatever day it was, they're like, oh, by the way, Steam Deck is like $300 more expensive now, and is basically $1,000. It's like $750 for the 512 version, and $960 some odd dollars for the 1 terabyte one, and it's like a $300 price increase. Now, keep in mind, like the Steam Machine was announced earlier this year, and it's still it was like actually I think announced late last year, and it was supposed to release in the first half of this year. And that hasn't happened. And they haven't talked price at all. And there was like, I just sort of remember when the Steam Machine was announced, people were like, dude, it's going to dominate. Gabe and Steam are going to dominate, take over from PlayStation. This thing's going to be $400. And it's just going to rule gaming. And it's like, are you sure about that? It's going to be that cheap? $400 and $500? Yeah. And, you know, you're looking at it now with the price of the Steam Deck and shit. And it's like, well, I don't know about that anymore, bub. Steam Machine's probably going to be $1,000. And
I'll be honest with you, Rand. I heard last year when it was first announced, it was going to be $1,000.
Yeah, which
a very, very good source.
So now everyone's like, what's going on? Because now all of a sudden, I've seen like people say Steam Deck is no longer a good value. Now the Xbox Ally X is the better value because it's a more powerful machine and it's like the same price. So if you actually want, I'll say this: if you want
Vastly more powerful machine.
if you want if you want the Xbox Ally X, you should probably get one now because I have a feeling that it's not going to be $1,000 that much longer. It's probably going to go up in price. Hell, if you want an Xbox Series X or an S, you probably get one now too, because I have a feeling those prices are probably going to be going up before the end of the year as well. That's just kind of the impression I get, that pricing is just absurd with the memory and all that stuff. So when it comes to Helix, I don't know. I mean, they said it's a premium console. What does that really mean? What does that entail? What are the costs of the components on that? And then like the memory apocalypse. When is it coming out? Is it a possibility they hold it, for till 2028 to see if prices come down a bit so they can sort of
maybe why would they? Like my logic is like they could just buy a bit of stock and sell it to the people who would pay the premium, and then later on cut the price and then get the good PR of cutting the price. There's no upside to holding it back, really, because if you look at the Steam Deck with the price increase, it's still sold out. There are people who are willing.
Only a couple people bought it, bro.
Sure, but those couple of people are going to be more profitable than selling the same amount to more people, right? So there's no upside really to holding it back if you manufacture the correct amount of units to chase the whales, right? The whole industry revolves around whales right now. Why wouldn't hardware too revolve around whales?
Sure.
Unfortunately, speaking analytically, I'm not saying I would like them to do that. Well, I'm saying it's just probably what they will do.
Well, and I guess like you could say the person that's interested in a $1,000 Xbox Helix is still going to be interested if it was like $1,200, right? Considering how much it's going to be and the super hardcore people. But then at the same time, I look at some of the recent comments from like Matthew Ball, who just joined the team, and talking about the success of the console and all that sort of stuff. And it's like, I guess it determines like what do they define as success and wins and all those sort of things. Because I don't know, you're starting to get in those price territories. It's getting sort of like you're pricing people out. Like, I don't know. It sort of seems like with everything getting so expensive, like gaming's almost getting priced out. But then I saw a post from Z Huge, and he said the majority of gamers are playing free-to-play games anyways, so nobody's getting priced out. And it's like, yeah, I guess. Nobody really thinks about mobile in that sense, that there's millions upon millions of people. In fact, more people playing on mobile and free-to-play. Or like Roblox, for example. Like Roblox has more monthly active users than PlayStation and Steam combined. It's a bigger platform than all of those. And it's free. So... yeah, we look at it like every generation before, consoles would get less and less. They get cheaper, and more casual people would get into it as the prices would go down. And now the consoles are, the opposite's happening, where it's getting more expensive all the time, which precludes potentially casuals from getting into it. But then, do the casuals care? Are they're like, well, I'm happy with my Roblox, or I'm happy with my mobile phone games, and I don't need a $900 PS5 Pro or whatever, or a $700 Series X to play anything. It's very, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to get any better, because it just seems like everything's going to get more and more expensive, which then like kind of limits the audience that you can get as price goes up. And so it's like, this is their dilemma. The dilemma is like, oh well, we've lost those users already to mobile and Roblox. Those young users, we've lost them already. So the only way we can make line goes up is to price gouge the people who want the core experience, like us. And we end up paying more for all of this stuff oftentimes. But I think this is also why we have seen a shift to Steam, because there are like increasingly high quality experiences that are cheaper on Steam. Like, I don't know if you saw like all the hype around Mina the Hollower this week. It's like a $20
a $20 Zelda-like
from
where you
Yacht
play as a
Club.
cute little mouse.
People
from Yacht
that
Club.
made Shovel Knight, yeah, which people loved.
Yeah. That's like got a lot of hype right now. And
Yeah.
there's a lot
it's
of
going to be a
experiences
game of
on
the year.
Steam.
It's going to be the game of the year nominee for sure, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, luckily this game's also on Xbox, but a lot of these sort of like a lot of these games are sort of these games that do blow up these days are cheaper experiences that are exclusively on Steam, you know. Which is why I think it's a smart play potentially for Microsoft to put Steam on Xbox all up, because it's like we get all those quote unquote de facto Steam exclusives. I mean, for me it would be like, man, shouldn't Microsoft really be working out how to bring those games to Xbox natively rather than just giving Steam their business? But the thing is, like, one thing that we rarely talk about, rarely think about is, as the costs have increased for us to buy hardware, it's also costs have increased for platform holders to run their platforms. Like, I was told, like, at the last LA Summer Game Fest I was at, which would have been 2 years ago now, before this whole memory bullshit that was popping off, I was told that like running your own platform is effectively like a 17% tax on yourself, because you have to pay for servers, you have to pay for customer service, you have to pay for like, you know, legal and marketing and all that kind of stuff. So in a sense, like when you are running a platform, it's not free. And we always think about we always think about like, oh, Microsoft would make more money if they put games on their own platform. Increasingly, it's like not necessarily a lot more money.
See,
it's
but
like the margins are better, but not that much better.
That to me, that's just the cost of doing business, bro. You gotta spend money to make money. Like, of course, you're gonna have like
Sure,
you got a store
saying,
that
like,
you're selling stuff, so you need customer service, and you got to pay them, and you got to pay that. That's just
yeah. But I'm just saying, like,
yeah, I know what you're saying.
In the universe we're in with the memory issue, that 70% is probably always higher.
Sure. But I'm just saying I don't think that's a new concept of like, well, it actually costs Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo money to run their own stores. It's like, yeah, no shit. Like, you know, I'm sure it costs Amazon money to run Amazon.com and everything they have on the back end too. So it's not you know, it's like, yeah, these businesses have to pay. Now they might be trying to cut costs, because do you actually get customer service? Like if you go to customer service on Xbox, are you actually talking to a real person these days, or is it just an AI bot? Right? Although Microsoft better be careful with cloud, so that somebody doesn't. They better set their limits so somebody doesn't spend $500 million in anything. Do you see that story about the company that spent like $500 million? And because like they didn't set the employee limits or whatever. So, I mean, I get what you're saying, but I also feel like that's just cost of business. It's like those are all things that they would know, and they have priced in going into it. Like nothing's free.
You'd think they would know better, because it does seem like Microsoft didn't acquire enough memory. They didn't acquire enough memory because, you know, the hardware sales can't meet demand, and that's because they haven't acquired memory. And you would have thought like they would have seen this coming, given the fact that they're a hyperscaler, right? That they would have seen this coming, but evidently they didn't. They put the prices of Surface devices have gone up massively, because they didn't lock in those memory contracts. Like I was asking someone like, why is Apple, for example, why Apple has right now, they have a $700 laptop, the MacBook Neo, which is like, it's competitive with much more expensive PC laptops like Windows and Dell and all the rest of it. And I was saying to someone like, how can Apple achieve this? Like when everyone else is putting up prices, how is it that a MacBook Neo is now cheaper than in Steam Deck? How is that possible? And someone was like to me, well, Apple locks in their memory contracts based on like years into the future, because they have that much clout, they have that much volume. They can say like, we want to lock in these prices at this rate for years into the future, because their entire business is hardware based. So they're locking those prices years into the future. But also, Apple has been investing heavily into manufacturers and supply chains and setting up fabrication. They've been setting up their own fabrication layers and investing in those companies. Whereas like the rest of the industry has kind of just sort of relied on the supply chain being stable. And now the supply chain isn't stable. It's people who planned for the future. Apple. Oh. Sorry. it's people who planned very well for the future that have benefited from all this, and Apple being one of them. You know, Microsoft hasn't planned well for the future, and we're seeing that play out now. And like in Valve's defense, like they're a boutique. You know, the Steam Deck is a boutique device, and I know, like in the bubble of this sort of internet discussion sphere, it's like, oh, Valve is nickel and diming people, and you know, and how can Valve do this? It's like, you got to remember, the Steam Deck is a boutique piece of hardware. They do not have the distribution, the relationships with the suppliers, and the kind of the clout to get memory at those lower prices. So you're kind of seeing that reflected in the price of the Steam Deck. You're probably going to see it reflected in the price of the Xbox Series X and S when they get pushed up in price, you know, because Microsoft has been giving them less business. If I'm a memory supplier, why would I prioritize Xbox, which has been signaling that it doesn't care about hardware as much, you know?
Right.
And that's it's a vicious negative cycle, because as Xbox and PlayStation and Nintendo in a way prioritizing core gamers, they've kind of created this situation where they haven't planned for any of this shit that's popping off now. I don't know.
Well, it's gonna be. I think it's also like this fall is gonna be interesting because we know GTA 6 is launching, but also Microsoft revealed a new game this week. Didn't even wait for their showcase. I wonder if they took some feedback on like what happened last year with Black Ops 7 and how that kind of hit, you know, like the last game of the show where people were excited and then it was like, oh, it's Black Ops 7. So they revealed Modern Warfare 4 now. Actually, I think it was yesterday when they revealed it. And they even gave the release date of October 23rd. So you releasing like pretty early for a COD game. Like usually COD is like the last week of October or like first week of November or middle of November, but they're even going a little bit earlier than normal to escape that blast zone. But I think some of the other big news from it is that they're ditching last generation, which we sort of already knew. Like they're ditching the PS4 and the Xbox One. And Warzone is also ditching last generation as well. So you basically have two of the biggest franchises in gaming with GTA and Call of Duty at the same time ditching last gen. So there's going to be a lot of people looking to upgrade because they're going to be like, I want the new Call of Duty or I want to play GTA and I can't play this on my PS4 or Xbox One. And we know from like the Rockstar leaks how many people actually play on last generation still, and it's actually quite a bit. It was something like still like 1 million people on Xbox One and something like 1.8 million on PS4. That just played GTA 5, so I would imagine those people might be looking for a system. You know, the people that play COD on last generation, you know, so like there's a good chance to shift some units this fall, and it's also just like, well, like how expensive is everything going to be? You know, like you already have, you know, the Xbox at $650 and the PS5 at $650 and the Pro at like $900. It's like, is that going to prevent people from buying in? I mean, there's an opportunity to sell a lot, but then I don't know. Like you said, maybe it's not that many people, or maybe like the people are like, you know what, I'm good with GTA 5 for now until the prices come down. It's not like they're going to be turning off GTA 5. Maybe people could still play that, although I do sort of wonder how, like what the population of GTA 5 is going to be once GTA 6, or at least once when GTA Online releases, like the population shift.
Well, it's kind of interesting because I was literally I'm setting up a new laptop at the minute. And the Xbox PC app popped up, and what was there? GTA 5, 50% off. I've never seen GTA 5 have a sale for one thing.
Oh, I have.
But I'm sure it has had sales, but I've never seen it like advertised on the dashboard like this, and not on Xbox PC. So part of me is just sitting there like, you know, this game's still going to have a lot of players even after GTA 6 launches. It's not like all of a sudden you're going to see a huge exodus from GTA 5 players all the way over to GTA 6 overnight, especially not on PC because it's not coming to PC. So I do wonder, like, the hardware situation with the memory and all the rest of it is tough. But I have been told that like Microsoft has people literally working 24 hours a day. Like, well, teams, you know, obviously they're not awake 24 hours a day, but they've got teams like working around the clock to source memory for Xbox, you know, not just the cloud servers, but also like the consoles. Like, Asher really wants to keep the hardware going because they know this is the big opportunity for them still, is to have an ecosystem, an endpoint, you know. And Microsoft's history is littered with examples of when they've neglected having an endpoint, you know, for their services, and then they can't deliver their services because the owners of those endpoints shut them out, you know, or prioritize their own stuff or compete unfairly. When they own house, like, you can close the door. But like, why wouldn't you want to invest in your own ecosystem to make sure you've always got a place, always a foot in the door, that kind of thing, right? And I know Microsoft and Asher like still want to keep going with the hardware. So, but it's just one of them. It's the planning up to this point has been poor, you know. And I think like some of the tough decisions that they would have had to have made in the past in order to get those memory deals in place, they weren't made by the previous administration. So they're kind of in a bind now. And I think that touches on what Asher said, which we're going to talk about in a bit. What are those hard decisions? What are the tough decisions they're going to have to make? As we'll find out, man.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see here. We talked about, or at least mentioned, the Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare announced. You know what? Like, screw it. Let's get right into it. Let's talk about those hard choices, Jez, shall we? Because that can kind of dovetail into everything. Let me see. I think I have the article here about this. So, I think I first saw this from Tom Warren. I think Tom had this, right? Because it started talking about like the game.
This is Tom's thing, yeah.
Yes, there was like an internal memo that Asha put out. They even talked a little bit about Game Pass as well, where she mentioned that Game Pass growth slowed down and subscriber loss accelerated after the pricing and SKU changes last year. And since our price reduction, we have seen acquisitions grow and retention improve, which is a good first step. Now, I guess like when you say like we're gonna raise the price by 50% and go from $19.99 to $29.99. Yeah, I'd imagine the growth probably was negated very well, and probably even went back in the negative because people were like, "Is it even worth the money at that point?" Right? So, I mean, she basically confirmed that and said as much, and that like, hey, you know, it's doing better now that the price is where it's at. Then she talked about. She says, we will not solve this one moment or one launch. We will have to outwork the problem in front of us in the path to restore durable growth. Okay. She says that we are building a stronger Xbox, all caps. I hate that. That means making hard choices about what we build, where we invest, and what kind of company we need to be going forward. That is part of what you are starting to see in the shift from Xbox lowercase to Xbox uppercase. It reflects a decision to be deliberate in how we show up for the players who care most about this brand. Okay. So, what's your take off of this, Jez? I know you wrote an article about it. Kind of what the hard choices and stuff might be. Like, I know this is an internal memo, so it's not supposed to be meant for people like us. But I would also assume that they know that someone's going to give it to Tom, or someone's going to give it to you, or someone's going to give it to Jason Schreier, and it's going to get out to people regardless anyways. But so when I say like hard choices, I don't know. My first thought is like, because she mentions like hard choices about what we build, where we invest. Like, part of that makes me think about Helix in a way, but not really. Like, I'm thinking layoffs. I'm thinking studio closures. I'm thinking I'm thinking maybe like changes with Game Pass dynamics and first party and stuff like that. Or maybe hard choices in the sense of like, hey, we were planning on releasing Helix 2027, but now we have to delay it, which would be a hard choice. And I see Jez has left the show, so it's just me. So like, I don't know what's happening because he hasn't messaged me. So I guess I'll just keep on talking. So it's almost like she's setting up like a future where she's like, all right, these potentially bad things are going to have to happen. Where it's kind of all been, at least since she kind of took over, in the initial skepticism about who she was and is she the right person for the job. Like, that was all prevalent from a lot of different people in a lot of different corners of the industry. Like, we don't know you. You're not a gamer. Remember those conversations of like, you're not a gamer. Like, should you be running this company? You had people like Seamus Blackley saying she's there to sunset the brand. And it was like people weren't convinced that anything was going to change. Because, you know, that's just how people are. It was like, well, they're just going to go on the same track. And then it seemed like she was doing things a little bit different. They kind of dabbled her toes in the exclusive conversation by replying to a fan and saying, hear you. We're getting updates to the consoles that should have like happened already, you know? Okay, Jez just DM me. His power went out. Okay, well, he'll be right back. So we have all this conversation with Asha, and most of it has been positive. The changes and the small wins that you could argue, which have been small. Some of them are just, I'm sorry for lack of a better word, like, I don't want to use the word cringe, but the whole like Xbox lowercase to Xbox uppercase is just like dumb as hell to me. Like, I know it's a Twitter poll that you ran, but I still think it's stupid as shit. And now it's like, okay, now we're going to be into some rough waters because we have to make some tough choices, and it's not all just going to be, oh, Asha did this and it was a W. It's like there might be some. I hear you. So you're back?
Yeah, sorry, my power went out. Jeez. So I had to turn everything back on, router and all that. Sorry about that. Continue.
No, yeah. So I was just talking about Asha and kind of like even today, you notice who came out with the bad news? It wasn't Asha. It was Matt Booty.
It was Matt.
Right? It was Matt saying that Fable's delayed to 2027. It's Matt saying that there's no Helix news at the showcase, which, I mean, I don't think is really bad news per se. I wasn't really expecting anything Helix related. I thought maybe they could mention, like, here's our consoles and we announced Project Helix and look for more news of that later. Like, I wasn't expecting really anything from that. And then he was the one that said, hey, the logos are going to be in the show for PS5, Nintendo, Steam logo. So like he was the one delivering bad news. So it's almost like, you know, he's the disciplinarian parent, where Asha's like the fun parent. And I
disciplinarian parent.
Yeah, like you always got to have good cop, bad cop, right? You got to have the good cop, bad cop dynamic. And it's like it's Matt Nash's show, and it seems like to me that PR is presenting like Asha's going to be the ones to announce like the W's. And then Matt's here to be like the tough news. Like here's the L's, I guess, as you would call them. Here's the things that people aren't going to like. And you know, cuz easily Asha could have tweeted this stuff out and been like, you know, hey, Fable's delayed, you know, but they send Matt to do it. So I wonder if there's some of that dynamic there. But when it comes to hard choices, Jez, I mentioned hard choices being like layoffs, potential studio closures, maybe a changing of Game Pass and how it works, or a delay of Helix to 2028 and canceling of projects or whatever. I don't know, when you see that and you see what she said, what are your thoughts about it? The hard choices.
Well, I wrote an article about it last week. Some people criticizing it like, oh, just
last week, I mean a couple days ago.
A couple of days ago, yeah. I don't even know what I'm coming going. But some people are like, oh, Jez didn't really say anything like that. And I was like, bro, it's just a discussion piece. You know, I don't actually know what they mean by hard decisions, but like we can make educated guesses based on, you know, what the facts we know and the analytical and all that kind of stuff, right? So, you know, if you're looking at it holistically, we know they want to stay in hardware. Everything I've heard and the thing that I do know is they want to stay in hardware. Ash is a platform person at the end of the day, and she's been brought in to grow a platform. And I don't think you can grow a platform if you shut down your hardware, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you've kind of got to have cuts probably in other places if you are pursuing hardware, because the hardware stuff is very expensive right now. Not only is it very expensive, it's an investment, it's a bet on the future. And it's an expensive bet on the future. You know, it's a very, very expensive bet, especially at a time where like, it's Microsoft's scrambling for capital for artificial intelligence infrastructure spending, right? So there's that aspect of it. So then you can kind of look at what are some of the other parts of the business which perhaps aren't performing, you know, at the level that Microsoft's bean counters would prefer, right? You look at like going multi-platform, like the best margins that Microsoft is getting right now is on multi-platform games. Like Forza Horizon 6 is going to sell millions of copies on PlayStation. It's going to be huge on PlayStation. So there's no universe where Microsoft is like struggling for margin that they would pull Forza off PlayStation. I think it's such an easy win on paper. And while like people on Twitter are really angry about it, the masses out there who buy these games and just like they don't engage on Twitter, like the silent majority, let's call them, they don't care about any of this stuff. They just want to buy their games, come home from work, and play the games, right? So even though, but they've kind of pigeonholed themselves because they had this whole player voice thing, and the number one voted piece of platform feedback right now is we want exclusives back. I think the actual number one thing is we want a new Banjo game. It's all that. It's like it kind of to me says how much of a bubble this is.
Maybe you shouldn't pay attention to Xbox fans. You know, there's no accounting for taste, I guess. Love you, Banjo Bros.
Yeah, indeed. Banjo Bros. But yeah, it does kind of suggest something that like the player voice is very representative of very hardcore.
Oh, I mean, you saying something that's online is online based and that most regular people don't know a damn thing about it. I mean, come on, Jez.
Yeah,
that's not too surprising.
I think the vast. You would struggle to find a Gen Z or a Gen Alpha person, especially who even knows what Banjo is. You know, and I think that kind of tells you how this platform player voice thing, how it skews, right? And we're old, bro. We're not the future of this industry. And Microsoft has like a fiduciary responsibility to think about what is the future of the business? What is the next 2 or 5 years look like? And it's increasingly so Gen Z. So how do we shape an audience around that aspect of it? And I'm telling you now, it ain't with Banjo, I don't think. It ain't with Banjo, bro. And it's probably not with exclusives either. So I don't think exclusives are coming back in any sort of meaningful way. Now, what I do think is that Halo 7 or 6 or whatever you want to call it, I think that'll probably go exclusive. And maybe even just timed exclusive. But it's just going to be any exclusivity that emerges from this player voice thing is going to be token exclusivity. But just to try and, you know, say like, we listen to you, even though like they're not going to do it. I don't think there's going to be big movement on exclusives at all. It just won't, they won't be able to get it past the bean counters. There's too much margin to be made. There's too much margin. So then you look at like, what's the next thing that could cut? The obvious one, sadly, is layoffs and underperforming studios. Studios that haven't really like delivered big revenue, studios that are in locations that are quite expensive, you know, like the West Coast, like Washington, like we've seen the economics and the fundamentals, you know, Bungie being largely Washington based. Like Destiny 2 is folded in on itself because the economics of running a studio in Washington kind of makes it incredibly difficult unless you're like absolutely running some kind of huge game with huge ongoing revenue streams and that kind of stuff. And I think like you look at some of the studios that Microsoft has in its stable from the first wave of acquisitions under Phil Spencer, and a lot of them have just taken a long time to deliver a game, and then the games that they did deliver didn't really resonate with the wider audience, right? And this is entirely speaking analytically from a perspective of what could they cut. I don't think they should cut anything. I think they should cut the executive C-suite layers' salaries, and I think they should loss lead until they get to a place where things are better. That's how I would do it. But that's not the reality of corporate America. That's not the reality of corporate the West all up. So, unfortunately, if I was going to bet, I would say that studio closures and layoffs are coming. And I hate to say that, but it just seems like the math. That's where the math points to. Am I wrong, Rand? Tell me I'm wrong and I'm being cynical and I'm being pessimistic.
No, I mean, because that was my first thought too about those sort of things. I mean, I guess I could be wrong, and it could be other things. But yeah, my first thought is they're gonna do. I mean, hey, July is the beginning of a new fiscal year, so you could easily layoffs at the end of the fiscal. It's gonna be one of those things where it's gonna be like, here's the showcase. It's like, was it last year where they did the showcase? And then it was literally a couple weeks later, and they had layoffs, and then they canceled all like the Perfect Darks and the Everwilds, and that was that was a year ago, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so when I see that stuff about where we're going to invest and stuff, that's not so much to me. That's like, what in studios are we investing in? What IPs are we driving towards and trying to make it bigger? It's like, we're gonna have to cut some people, unfortunately, as hard choices, and some studio, not every studio is created equal, unfortunately, so there's ones that, like Playground Games, for example, that's one of your premier studios. They got Forza Horizon 6, and look how that franchise has grown from Forza Horizon in 2012, right? A spin-off of the actual mainstay of Forza Motorsport, and then eclipsed it. And then you look at how much it's grown, and you would think, well, I mean, how much more growth can Forza Horizon actually have? And it's like, oh, well, pretty significantly on PC, it looks like. Where Forza Horizon 5 topped out at 80,000 concurrent, and I think Forza Horizon 6 has hit 300,000 concurrent, and has had the most viral Xbox moment that I can remember in the longest time with Bowie Knife 99. Like, I've never seen anything like that for an Xbox game.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
Where
it's kind of cool, right?
Everybody's talking about it, and it's like this underground marketing for the game in a way, and it feels like so real, but at the same time also sort of like staged in a certain sense. And what I mean by that is
coordinated, right?
Coordinated in a sense of like, I can imagine like Stein being in group chats with all these other like community managers being like, tweet about Bowie Knife or whatever. Like, I think Bowie Knife like happened organically, and then tweets were made about it, and then they capitalized it. But like, in my mind, I'm just like, yeah, like all these companies are like, Stein's talking to all these companies, and they're doing stuff, and they want to be on the viral moment. And I was just like, I've never seen that happen with an Xbox property before, and it's happened with Forza. And like how even though like when I talked about in my review about Forza Horizon 6, I said like, it's still the same game that's been for the last like couple iterations, but it's so damn good and so damn polished and just so much fun that you're willing to overlook the sameness of it, and like the time difference between 5 and 6 is like, oh, it's been 5 years, I could really go for this one. And it's like, and it just overshadows everything in the genre, where you don't really even get racing games anymore for whatever reason. And it's funny because when we're talking about like the exclusivity stuff, and we had the conversation with John, and John was very much of like, the thing is like, how come Xbox and PC just isn't enough for you? Like with Forza Horizon 6, look how much money you've made, look how many copies you've sold. Like, how could Xbox and PC, which PC is the fastest growing platform, by far bigger than PlayStation, right? And bigger than Nintendo and whatnot. Like, how is Xbox and PC just not enough for you? And it's like, well, when you tell a corp, or, like a CEO, you could make this amount of money or this amount of money, it's like they're always going to choose the bigger amount of money. It's like, well, with Xbox and PC, we made $500 million, but if we include PlayStation and Switch 2, we could make $900 million. It's like, which one do you think they're going to go after? But also, Jez.
People are calling you out for forgetting Craig.
Forgetting
the virality of
okay.
Craig.
That wasn't
totally
but,
positive.
But
right?
that wasn't in a positive way. Yes, Craig was very viral, but in a very negative way. There's two differences here. I mean, the Forza thing is a very positive, and I meant it as like a positive viral moment, and also like subtle marketing for the game, like guerrilla marketing for Forza Horizon 6. Craig was not Xbox marketing for Halo. Like it was.
Xbox Game Studios have never really had something like that. Like some of there's a lot of memes and culture around some of their like Activision games. Like
sure,
maybe not as broadly as like a Let Me Solo Her kind of thing, but yeah, Bowie Knife it's been fun either way. Like
I don't even
cool
care.
I don't even care if it's forced. It's
cool
just
to see
fun.
Capcom say something, or like Pragmata, Kingdom Come, like literally every gaming account was talking, and even like I think I saw Walmart say like it was literally everywhere, and it was positive because it's like selling the game in a way that the actual marketing. You couldn't, maybe the marketing misses some people, but yeah, Craig was also viral, but for all the wrong reasons, So,
this is why but this is the thing about Xbox is like a lot of what they do, like from a marketing perspective, does feel kind of forced, and I think people are really savvy. Like, and this is like when they do things like change the logo, and it's like, oh yeah, we're different now. But then imagine this, Rand. How do you think people are going to react if Halo campaign evolves? Is it PlayStation State of Play? How do you think people will react to that?
I mean, they would.
Do you think people will think, oh, Xbox has really changed? Halo's at PlayStation State of Play.
What, do you expect it to be at State of Play on Tuesday?
I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm just saying, like, what if?
I mean, sure.
What if, bro? What if Halo's at PlayStation State of Play? How do you think people react to that?
Very negatively. Well, this kind of goes back to what I've always said about how Asha's tenure will be viewed in the lens of the hardcore fan. Because I've already seen it go down today. Like when Matt Booty said that the logos are still going to be at the show because they want it to be transparent and blah, 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 blah. You saw a lot of hardcore fans react. And not in a positive way at all. Like they're saying, oh, it's the same old Xbox, different leader, but same Xbox. Oh, here comes the Kumbaya stuff. Like, how could you do this when, like whatever comments you want to make. Like people are just being like, they take this as nothing's gonna change, and it's just the same shit, different day, right? Yeah. And I've said, and you can back me up, and I'm sure chat can back me up. I said her tenure is going to be viewed about how she handles the exclusive situation because she started it. And you can argue like, well, the hardcore fans are they're unrealistic and they want things that they can't have because like Xbox is multi-platform and they've sort of ruined their hardware business, so they had to go over here and they're more of a publisher, and that's just the road they're going to have to go down. But at the same time, Asha was the one that started the exclusivity talk. Like, the fans are the fans, and they're going to talk, and they're going to do what-ifs, and they're going to speculate and be like, wouldn't it be great if this happened? But she's the one that responded to someone and said, heard you. She's the one that put it in the blog post about reevaluating exclusives and all that sort of stuff and giving some of the fans hope. And so if that's not going to happen, or like you said, if you sort of feel like it's going to be token gestures like, well, here's Keeper 2 and it's exclusive, or here's something else, but like all the games that actually matter, the Fallout 5s and the Elder Scrolls 6s and the Gearses and all the stuff, all the big games, all the games that people would actually maybe want to buy a console or a thing for, unfortunately, they cost too much money, and we can't give up those other platforms, so those are going to, be multi-platform. Like, And the thing is, like, that's how her tenure is going to be viewed. She could do other things that are great behind the scenes with updates to the consoles and just different decisions she makes or different investments that we never know about or whatever. But for the hardcore fan, it's all circled around that. I mean, just look at the reaction to the logo stuff, because the logo, like the logo stuff, is just it's a weird thing because I think it's stupid. Is it the end of the world? Absolutely not. It's sort of dumb to even have the conversation, honestly, about like logos at a thing, but it's also a microcosm of like everything with Xbox, like everything with Xbox within that, where it's like they're the only ones doing this. They're also the only ones going like putting their games everywhere. So like when people tune into the show, it's like, well, oh, look at that cool game. But it's also on PlayStation and Steam. I don't need to worry about Xbox. And it's like, yeah, I get that, because these companies are also trying to sell their games. Like from a third party perspective, third parties probably love, if you couldn't get like on a PlayStation show, but you still wanted to be showcased in something that matters. Well, Xbox is going to let us be in our show, and we can actually then put our logos directly in their show. So anybody that sees that is like, oh, we're on PS5, or we're on Switch 2, or we're on PC. Great. So you get the exposure of all these millions of people watching because you're at a showcase. And people don't have to search online to see if we're actually if they're coming to the platforms they want. So I could see how third parties could be like, we like this. Xbox is going to let us do this. Like, yeah, if you play with Nintendo and PlayStation, you got to play by their rules, and they're not going to let you do that. You know.
But the thing is, it's like it's good relations with PlayStation and Nintendo ultimately too. And I know it's like we say there should be more hardcore
good relations with
combo
PlayStation and Nintendo. Come on now. I don't believe that for one bit.
Of course it is, because at the end of the day, Call of Duty is a huge operation on PlayStation. Sure. And you kind of need to maintain that business relationship. You kind of need to reassure PlayStation that they're not gonna weaponize Call of Duty, and they're not gonna weaponize whatever else against them. And
why do you need to reassure PlayStation for that? I don't like. Why do you need to reassure? You sort of signed an agreement that you weren't going to do that. They're going to do whatever. Okay, so what? So if they,
I'm just talking. I'm just playing devil's advocate, speaking analytically here. I personally don't think they should do this. If it was me running it, I wouldn't do this. I would weaponize the fuck out of COD. I would obfuscate and obtrude make it. I would put Xbox branding on all that shit.
Absolutely.
I'm just speaking from their perspective.
Exclusive skins and shit. Yeah, I get it. Exclusive betas.
Skins. Yeah. Xbox logos on all the marketing. PlayStation logos nowhere. I would do all that shit. But I also try and see it from their perspective, so we can have a discussion, right? So potentially what I think is they have like a huge operation of Call of Duty on PlayStation, and it's sort of like it disincentivizes PlayStation from potentially working with some of their competitors more aggressively, like a Battlefield, like a whatever else, and something that could eventually usurp Call of Duty. Like we saw last year, Battlefield outsold Call of Duty at retail. Right, at least for a little while. I don't think it ended up that way, but at least for a little while, they outsold Call of Duty at retail, and it really felt like EA had a moment in time where they could have potentially done some serious damage to Call of Duty. It does feel like this year, Call of Duty is already sending out the right signals. They put out a new trailer recently. Like one of my colleagues went and played the game. She said it was very good, and they're saying like, oh yeah, our skins. I highly doubt this is going to be true, but they said our skins are going to be grounded. Yeah. They're getting ahead of those conversations. They don't want to repeat it last year. EA had its chance with Battlefield, and they kind of blew it. So I don't think Call of Duty wants to get into that situation again.
Sure, but you remember, I always said the silver lining with Call of Duty versus Battlefield, even though Battlefield won last time, was that Battlefield's not annual yet. Call of Duty is. So it was going to be some time before next Battlefield game where COD would probably have like 3 or 4 new releases. And so that's the thing. Like you don't hear about Battlefield 6 anymore. Like people talked about it a lot for a month, and then it like disappeared, and nobody talks about it. and there's going to be the new Call of Duty, and it's only going to take one great new Call of Duty to get people back on board. Like if this one's really really good, people are going to be back on board the Call of Duty train. And it's like, sure, but we've seen that. Like we've seen the bumps in the road with Call of Duty before. It's not the first time they've had one blow up in their face because of the quality of the game or the settings of the game or whatever,
Bro,
and then they bounce back and stuff. So
I will take that L. I was so hard on the Battlefield train.
Yeah, you were.
Like,
we all were.
I was like,
it's like finally Battlefield's going to be in its rightful place at the top, right?
yeah, I was so heavy on that train. I was writing like tons of articles about Battlefield, and I was bitching about Call of Duty skins all summer last year because they went well overboard with it though. They had like American Dad skins and aliens and cartoon skins all in there, like trying to interweave with your sort of mature shooter. How the fuck could I sit there and take this seriously, even in the vaguest kind of terms, right?
I mean,
And
do you really
I
take?
was
I don't know.
I was
Like,
fully
define what you mean by take it seriously. It's a fucking video game. Like, who cares if it's Family
in
Guy
my
versus
immersion, bro. My immersion.
What immersion, though? I don't understand. Like, maybe. I
Bro,
don't know.
are you telling me? Are you sitting there telling me you didn't feel immersed playing like Battlefield 1 and like Zeppelin exploding overhead and the realistic guns? I like that out of Battlefield, man.
Sure.
I know it has its like ridiculous Michael Bay stuff you can do, like jumping out of a jet with a rocket launcher and all that kind of thing, but it is like I want to feel at least vaguely immersed. If I'm like getting into the zone and I see like, I don't know, a bloody alien from American Dad come around the corner or something, it just sort of detracts from the experience for me. And it's just, I'm speaking personally here. Like there's a shout out to Jay Slayer in the chat. He said he wants anime skins. He doesn't want grounded skins. He wants anime skins in Call of Duty. You know, there is that debate. Like I hear a lot from people, and they're like, people buy those skins. People want those skins. They want the chaos and the craziness. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. And I've always said, just give me a filter. Give me a button to turn that off. And I know you said they won't do it.
Never.
But that's the play. That is the play. Have a mode or a gameplay mode that has none of them skins. That is the play for me. But anyways, best of both worlds. But anyway, I say like, but the point is, I was all on board with Battlefield, and it just ended up going nowhere, man. It went nowhere. And I know like Vincent Pella dying had probably had an impact to some degree, but at the end of the day, they've got they had a whole team there, and they had like they knew it's going to be a service game, and they knew what people wanted out of it. They had all the feedback, and they had the blueprint of what a successful Battlefield looks like, and they just didn't deliver it. Like it's only just now recently they've started adding like the more large scale maps that people expect out of Battlefield. It's only just recently they've started doing that, and you know, and now it's sort of like too little too late, I suppose. A lot of people have kind of moved on to other stuff, and that's kind of like the way the hype train works, I guess. But anyways, I do wonder if Modern Warfare 4 will hit really hard this year because of that kind of stuff. And you know, back to the original point, like I would weaponize it personally, but I just kind of get why they don't. It's like putting Call of Duty in Game Pass. They disrupted the business model, and I think like having marketing and stuff that presents as Xbox coded, they probably worry that will also negatively impact the uptake on PlayStation. And let's be real, PlayStation's a lead platform for Call of Duty. It is the lead platform for Call of Duty. So how can you not have PlayStation logos on the Call of Duty when it's the lead platform? Is probably what they're thinking. I would take them off because for me, PlayStation wants to kill Xbox. They want to kill Xbox, and they want to kill my library of games on Xbox. So I would do it. I would take it off, and I'd just say, you can't survive without Call of Duty any more than we can. We can't, rather. So like, I would do it. I'd be bullish and hardcore, but I also get why they don't. I get why they don't.
About what the logo shit?
Know.
Well, I mean, I guess you could make the argument of like, they always say that planning for the next showcase starts when that year's showcase ends, that they start planning stuff. So this showcase stuff has been planned for quite some time. And you can say like the agreements and all these things, maybe they're in place and there's not enough time for them to make the showcase hers or whatever, because she only took over 2 months ago or whatever it's been, where there's just not enough time, and maybe they already made agreements with third parties to show that sort of stuff. And it's like, I mean, they did say even with the exclusivity and all that stuff that they wanted to make the right decision, not necessarily the fast decision, so they're taking time or whatever. And like the current slate of games are already announced, and it's like, you know, they just aren't at that point yet where it's like, okay, maybe we could do this later, maybe we could do it next year, maybe we could do the 25th anniversary or something, but we just don't have the time or whatever. I mean, I'm saying you potentially could make that argument of like, there's just wasn't enough time to kind of do whatever. But I'm just telling you, like, my whole point is like, you see the reaction to the logo stuff, and I'm just like, then think about the reaction it would be if nothing changed at all, and just, I guess what I'm saying is they're playing with fire, and they better know they better know what they're dealing with, because they started the conversation, and people don't like to be played around with. And I know what you're saying, like video games, and it's like, it's just video games and emotions, but have you met some of these like super hardcore people? Like they get super invested in this shit, and they build entire personas around it, and they get really upset, and they'll go on the diatribes on Twitter and stuff. So like, if you see people already getting upset about logos and then nothing changes, whew, the fallout and the tirades that will happen will be astronomical. Because I think for a while it was like there was no hope, because, you know, Phil was in charge and this was the path it was going down. We implemented Project Latitude, and it was like just 4 games, but then it wasn't, and then it was like there's no red lines, and pretty much everything was multi-platform, and that was just the way it was. It's like, you either, you know, it's like you just play Xbox, play your games, and that's just whatever, how it went, how it was going to, the future was already kind of written. And then it was like, okay, well, Phil's gone now, Asha's here, and Asha's kind of moving in a different way. Xbox is sort of doing things a little differently. She's starting a conversation about exclusives. So all of a sudden that door is open again. So now all of a sudden people are like, hope is kindled. Player voice, number one thing there. And I just think you better be careful about how you really think about this with your hardcore fans. Because even when they mentioned like when she says this is part of what you are starting to see in the shift from Xbox to Xbox, it reflects the decision to be deliberate in how we show up for the players who care most about this brand. Well, guess what? Nintendo fans don't give a shit about the Xbox brand. PlayStation fans don't give a shit about the Xbox brand. So when you say something like that, who are you really talking to? Like, yeah, you may sell your games everywhere, but those people who like just buy your games like they're like an EA game or Take-Two, like they don't care about you or your brand or what you have to say. So if you're talking directly to people who care about the brand, yeah, there's going to be people who are Xbox fans who don't care about the exclusive stuff. I mean, personally, like I said, do the games being exclusive matter to me? No. They don't. Like, my life will go on. I'll play the games that come out. Do I think they should be exclusive? Yes. I've said that from day one. I've never wavered on any of that thing. I thought the Project Latitude thing was dumb as shit. I've told that directly to people at Xbox. I think this is going to blow up in your face. But at the same time, I'm not like emotionally invested like a lot of other people are in this. I was like, I can't change their mind. They're going to do what they're going to do. And that's it. I'm just going to enjoy video games. So it's like, I can have both those different thoughts in my head of like, I get why they're doing it, but I don't think they should. And so whatever decision they make, you know, whatever. It's their business after all. I'm just here to play games, but then again, not everyone's like me. So, like I said, they better be careful about how they approach this shit, because they're the ones that opened up the door for people to kind of like get excited again. And well, if you're gonna slam that door back in the face and in their faces and being like, actually nothing's changing, people are gonna be like, but I don't know. That sort of seems kind of cold-hearted, because then it seems like it was all just PR nonsense to get people excited about Xbox again, but you weren't gonna. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
So just they just have there's a tight line they're going to have to walk on here. And maybe not, like you said, maybe nothing changes in the short term. I mean, I know there's people hoping they pull Halo away, or they pull Fable away, or they pull Gears away. I don't think any of that was realistic in any like stretch, right, of imagination. Like, but there was a suite of games coming in the future that, okay, well, maybe this stuff. And like I said, like, okay, Keeper's exclusive ain't gonna do shit. I'm sorry, like, I like Double Fine as much as anybody else, but Keeper not doing anything, just like Kiln's not doing anything, and like South of Midnight and Avowed being exclusive didn't do shitty either way. So if you're just going to give exclusives just to make people happy and a check off the player voice so you said you did it, like, it's also meaningless because that's not going to do anything. We've already seen it not do anything. The games that and this also kind of coincides with what Matthew Ball said about like success in the consoles and stuff. Like, how are you going to be able to sell these things if, I don't know, we're going down that tree again. I don't really want to get into it, but Fable being delayed. What do you think that's all about, Jez?
Well, Jeff Grubb did say that it was internally delayed, and there was a lot of people that thought, Special Nick, for example, betting large sums of money on
and it ended up being right, huh?
Yeah, he ended up being right. I think it kind of I've always said this on the show, and I am a big fan of delays. I'd rather a game get delayed and come out polished than a game launched quickly and is unpolished. And also, I've got a ton of stuff to play, so I'm not like, oh no, I've got to wait a few extra months. Have never bothered me. Delays have never bothered me. But I do think, like, we've sit on this show round and talked about times where Microsoft has released games on top of each other that they shouldn't have released them on top of each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think if there's ever an example where Microsoft shouldn't release a game on top of something, it's probably Grand Theft Auto.
Yes.
Grand Theft Auto is probably absolutely the last game you should launch on top of, even if Fable is polished as hell.
100%.
Give Fable the best chance of recouping its likely astronomical amount of investment. They needed to swerve GTA 6's campaign at the very least.
Yes,
because everyone on Earth's going to be playing GTA 6,
and all the media coverage will all be about GTA 6.
Yeah, so it makes total and complete sense. For me, it's actually kind of encouraging because my thing was like, are the bean counters going to allow for this? Because every time you delay something, you lose a ton of money. Because that's like, you extend the amount of time where you've got to pay salaries and before like the revenue starts coming in. So I was kind of sitting there thinking like, will Satya and Amy allow them to do this? Will they have a short-sighted view of it? Will they be like, you know, yeah, you've got to release it and we'll just do our best with it, you know. Maybe GTA 6 won't blow up as much as we think, like that kind of thing. But I think this is like, I think it's ultimately a good sign that they were able to invest in swerving here, because it would have been a mess if they hadn't, in my opinion. But
right,
I don't know.
Well, so Matt Booty announced that the new release date is in February. So they sort of they kind of like played the Avowed playbook here, because like Avowed was originally supposed to come out in the fall of 2024. I think it was, and then they delayed it to February of the following year for 2025, which realistically it's a delay of, you know, if we assume Fable was supposed to come in October and it's now coming in February, it's really just a delay of what, November, December, like 3 or 4 months. It's actually not that long of a delay. But you are right in the sense of, I sort of wonder if GTA 6 actually released when it was supposed to, which would have been 3 days ago, like, would Fable be releasing this fall? Because like, even when they talk about it, like, look at this tweet here from Xbox. It says, this year is packed with incredible games for Xbox players to enjoy, from Halo Campaign Evolved, Gears of War E-Day, and Call of Duty Modern Warfare to Control Resonant, Star Wars Galactic Racer, and Grand Theft Auto 6. In order to plan our game launches through the holidays, In a way that works best for players, we're moving Fable to February 2027 so it can have the dedicated moment it deserves. We're excited to be giving players a major new look at Fable as well as our broader lineup at the Xbox Game Showcase on June 7th. So I sort of read that and I'm like, yeah, it's because of Grand Theft Auto 6. Like the moment it deserves, right? Because it wouldn't get the moment it deserves if you're launching close to GTA because everyone's going to be focused on that. And it also I remember the thing with Avada was like, we're looking out for your backlog. So we decided to lay out next year. It's like, okay, whatever. Look, I'm also with you in the sense of like, there's too much here to just release the game anywhere close to GTA and have it be forgotten simply because the biggest game you could imagine is just sucked all the energy and all the oxygen out of the room. So I do think if you were butting up against that wall, then it's like, yeah, okay, we're going to delay it. And, it's only a short delay to February. So you have like a really big game to look forward to at the beginning of next year. But also, there's a part of me that thinks, man, this game was supposed to come out in 2025. It's supposed to come out in 2025, and it's coming out, and it was revealed in 2020. Now, if we had went back, I wonder if we could go listen to our podcast from 2020 during that showcase when they ended with Fable. If we try to take predictions about when Fable was going to launch, I doubt anybody would say 2027. I think would have been like, oh, Fable will be out by 2023. 2024. How naive were we, Jez? Oh man. I mean, State of Decay 3 is probably also coming out in 2027. That's another game that was revealed at that showcase. 7 years. Right? Man, I hope Fable's great. And Playground is an amazing studio. I mean, they have the racing genre covered. So it's like, will that translate to an open world action RPG? I hope so. So I'm super excited to get another look at the game because we haven't really seen that much of the game, really. Like, it's not like an extended look at the combat or some of how the quests play out and stuff. We've seen more of a focus on buying and selling properties and annoying people and stuff like that. So I'm excited. I'm not surprised at all. Because once Jeff said it was internally delayed and it was like, well, they might delay it to next year, I was like, yeah, it's probably getting pushed. But yeah, do you think if GTA had released already, this game would just have come out in November? Would they have just been? Do you feel that way? Because I
think that would have done. I think that would have. Yeah, I think so.
I mean,
I think that would have done. Like I said, they want to start making the money. So I definitely think that would.
They want to start making the money.
Cash money.
And then you could argue more people are going to have Xboxes and PlayStations after this fall because GTA and Call of Duty are next gen only, right? Or current gen only.
Yeah.
So there's more of an audience to sell to and stuff. So yeah, Fable's going to be there. We're going to another look at it. And we're talking about the show. Let's do a preview, shall we? We might as well, since we're right here. Let's do a preview about what we think might be there. Now, I will say this going in. This is probably the first year where I haven't been actively looking to find out what it's at the showcase, and that's been the first time for me in I don't know how long. Because normally by this time...
I'm kind of the same way.
Normally by this time, I know quite a bit. Not all of it, but I'll know some things. I have not, I've actively just been, I haven't talked to anybody about it. So, yeah. I know, they talk about Rand predictions and quote, but, this one, that's truly what it is. The people I talk to or whatever, I just have been kind of just been I don't know. I just kind of this year's kind of been weird for me in general. Yeah. So it's just kind of been whatever. I'm not really super interested. Be like, oh, what's at the show or whatever. It's like, yeah, whatever's there is there. I'll tune in on the Sunday and just find out like everybody else. So let's start off with ABK Jez. Now they revealed Call of Duty early, which is great. Did they say, or do you think they'll show it again at the showcase, or is it like did they avoid it because they want to do something like all the games here on Xbox Play Anywhere in Game Pass, and well, obviously like Call of Duty is not in Game Pass, so they wanted to. Did they want it to make it more like?
Well, I think like I want to say last year people bitched that Call of Duty was featured prominently in the show.
Well, it ended.
And I think
show.
like
yeah,
it's like there's like yeah, and I think maybe they've identified this like there is two separate user bases here where, you know, and obviously there's going to be some overlap. Call of Duty is a huge game, but maybe they're like, you know, for dedicated Call of Duty players who are not on Xbox and dedicated Xbox players who are not on Call of Duty, maybe it's better to just separate them out, you know. So maybe the thinking like Call of Duty, let it stand alone, maybe. So I do think we'll get a trailer for Call of Duty, but it probably won't close the show, and it'll probably not feature as prominently as it maybe did.
I don't know. I sort of feel like with the trailer already being out, I sort of feel like it's not even going to be there.
I think it'll be there, but maybe in a small way. I don't know, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, because they mentioned the Fable delay, but then they also mentioned like we'll see it again. So they clearly wanted to do this podcast to get out the bad news first, so people don't focus on like seeing the Fable trailer and seeing 2027 being like, oh fuck, it got delayed. They did the same thing with Redfall and Starfield in 2022, where right before the showcase, like the month before or whatever it was, they put out the thing that, hey, both games have been delayed. I think we still saw them again at the show, but they had like new dates on them. So I sort of wonder with them releasing the trailer for Modern Warfare 4 if that sort of means it's just not going to even be there. Like they'll do their own like Modern Warfare 4 is going to have its own marketing stuff, and that doesn't include the showcase or something. But you could be right. It might be there. I'm going to say no. Just to kind of be yes. A contrarian, because I just don't know why like you do the reveal this week when you could have just waited a week to do it. So yeah. I'm going to say no. Anything else from Activision, like Elsewhere, the studio over in Poland that's making like a game? I'm going to predict
that Elsewhere will show its hand.
Okay, that's interesting.
I'm going to predict.
Because I mean, my first thought is no. I think that'll be next year's show, but I kind of do want to see what they're working on.
I think they'll show their hand because I've noticed they've started ramping up hiring.
Okay,
but I don't know. I could be wrong. But I'm going to say yes.
Anything else from Activision, like a new Guitar Hero, perhaps, or new Skylanders, or?
I'm not expecting anything like that, but like, and I know this is probably technically, I suppose, under Xbox Game Studios now. But could we see Toys for Bob and with Spyro? Because Spyro is an Activision IP.
It is. I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say Toys for Bob is there with a trailer for Spyro 4. Yes.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm gonna say yes.
But I don't think like a Guitar Hero or a prototype or any of that sort of stuff shows up from Activision. I guess you could say like, what about back compat? Like we talked about it like with Singularity,
Activision,
like
classics.
The Activision stuff is because to me, because they did say Matt Booty said it's all about games and stuff, and so it sort of implies that not necessarily there won't be like that sort of announcement. And I sort of feel like if you're gonna do a back compat announcement, that would probably more fit a 25th anniversary stream where you want to celebrate Xbox and be like, here's some back compat games and stuff, right? That's the way at least I would see it. So we're probably in agreement on that. Now, Jez, here's your lovers, Blizzard. What can we expect from Blizzard? Do we see an Overwatch 2 update trailer? Do we see anything from Diablo 4, which I doubt because Lords of Hatred just came out, so I'm gonna say no on that one. Do we get
I think we see nothing from Blizzard.
Nothing. Not a peep.
I don't think we see a damn thing because BlizzCon is this year, and it's the 30th anniversary, and I think all of the Blizzard stuff going right over to BlizzCon. I don't think we see a peep from Blizzard this year.
So no StarCraft
That's my
reveal?
prediction. Nope.
But StarCraft reveal at BlizzCon.
Yes. BlizzCon.
Okay. I feel the same. I don't really think much from Blizzard's going to be there. I think they'll hold it, like you said. I think they're going to hold their stuff for no World of Warcraft, none of those things. They'll do it at their own show.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's my prediction. No Blizzard.
No Blizzard. All right. Well, that means we'll jump to the Bethesda side of things. Arcane Studios.
We'll see Blade.
They're working on Blade. Ooh, okay. So I feel the same. That Blade will be there, and in fact, I have Blade closing the show.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was trying to think about games that could close, and I don't know, man. Seeing like a first look at Blade would certainly, like, I think Blade is their big game for next year. Like, well, you can make the argument, well, Fable's a big game for next year. It just got delayed, but I'm talking like for the fall. I think Blade is their big property for 2027. And so that's sort of why, like, it's, it's got the Marvel prestige on it. I don't know. I just sort of, I think that's just going to close the show. Because I sort of feel like, because last year I said Elder Scrolls, and I guess maybe you could say Elder Scrolls. Like, maybe they want to make a big bang and being like, hey, here's Elder Scrolls 6 and, whatever. But I just, when I was looking at, it's like, we already have Gears doing the Direct. You're certainly not going to close with Halo Combat Evolved or Campaign Evolved. You're not going to close with Fable. At least I don't think so. I think that'd be the wrong decision to do so. So I was like, you know what? I think Blade. I think Blade's going to close.
I'm going to bet Clockwork Revolution closes.
They've already closed with Clockwork once before.
I think they'll do it again. I think Blade opens.
What if Clockwork opened?
Nah, I think Clockwork closes. I think Clockwork closes because Blade's further out. And I think Clockwork is closer because Clockwork, some people noticed that Clockwork was popped up in coming soon under Xbox Game Pass recently.
Sure.
And I kind of feel like if you want to close the show on something that will stick in people's mind, it's probably going to be the thing that sticks out in people's minds, right?
Are you saying that Blade's not going to stick out in people's minds?
I think it will, but it's further out. So maybe you do.
How do we know
it's
further out?
The show.
I think Blade's next year, which also I think Clockwork Revolution's next year. Remember, think about it.
I think Blade's closer, bro. I mean, I think Blade's further away, bro.
Oh, I mean.
Oh, and by the way, shout out to Enders Rising, who just said to me that Modern Warfare 4 confirmed that they're showing Call of Duty DMZ at the Xbox showcase. So Call of Duty is at the showcase.
So they're showing like a trailer for DMZ. Okay.
What is DMZ?
DMZ
is that their extraction mode?
Extraction mode.
Ugh. Not more extraction.
Ugh. And this is coming from the guy who's got 400 hours in Marathon.
Would you play DMZ if it was good?
No.
Even if all your friends are playing it?
I have zero interest in playing Call of Duty DMZ.
What if all your friends are like, come on, Rand?
They're not.
Come on, Rand.
None of my friends have any interest in Call of Duty.
Why not? Why not?
They just don't. None of them do. Like, none of them... Like,
they hate Call of Duty?
It's not even that. I think it was just... You play so much Call of Duty, and it's like... We like the Battle Royale aspect of it, and like when Warzone 2 came out, it was awful. So like everybody just... None of my friends ever really liked to play the actual like... meats and potatoes of COD, like Team Deathmatch or any of that sort of shit, right? And none of them really played DMZ. It was like people like to play Warzone, but it was awful. So yeah, nobody played Call of Duty. I mean, I suppose maybe this year might be different, but I really don't have any interest in that. But then again, I said that about Arc Raiders, and look what ended up happening. And I said that about Marathon, and look what ended up happening. So who knows? I'll probably still play the
You did say
campaign.
that.
I'll probably play the campaign for sure, but I don't know if I'll play any of the multiplayer. You see,
Okay.
I'm very interested in Clockwork Revolution. I just don't like the idea of it closing. I don't like that idea, Jez. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it whatsoever.
Maybe it's so good it'll change your mind.
I mean, their trailer the trailer they showed last year was pretty good. But it was a very long trailer too. It was like 6 minutes long, if I remember correctly, right? Oh, Jez doesn't respond to me. I see how it is.
No, I said true.
True. All right. Well, so we both think Blade will be there. I think it closes. Jez thinks it'll be somewhere else. Bethesda Game Studios, Jez. Will Elder Scrolls 6 show up? I guess that's the big thing, because I doubt Starfield's going to be there. I doubt Fallout 3 Remaster or any of Fallout Remasters are going to be there. So the question is it Elder Scrolls 6 time? Does Xbox want to make a big statement with potentially a game that is going to be absolutely massive? We finally see it after, what it had been, 8 years? 2018, right? Is this the year?
Which, sorry, I got distracted there.
You're just not even listening to me? I see how it is.
I was deciding whether to ban someone in chat. Sorry.
I was saying, do we see Elder Scrolls 6?
I'm gonna bet no.
Okay.
I'm gonna bet no.
Because if it is there, it would be closing, right? And you already have Clockwork closing, so yeah. So I would imagine.
I think from what I've heard, Elder Scrolls 6 is still a ways away. From what I've heard, don't know how true that is. I'm still trying to lock down information. I'm actually hoping that like when I'm at the showcase, I can get some like more concrete information about some of the timelines on some of this stuff. But the last morsel of information I heard is that Elder Scrolls 6 is still ways out. So I would guess that maybe next year is Elder Scrolls, but again, would be wrong. Would be wrong.
I'm gonna say no as well.
If Elder Scrolls is there, if it is there, definitely closes the show.
Oh, for sure, absolutely.
Don't think that. And Matt Booty did kind of say that it's the next 12 months of games, and I don't think Elder Scrolls 6 is in 12 months. I think so.
Yeah, then for sure not.
I think next year best. Would even be the year after, bro.
I also hate the whole.
We'll be very old. We'll be very old and grey when that game comes out.
I also hate the whole 12-month thing. I think that's lame as shit, personally. But
I think they got burned so many times on announcing games that never came out. I think that's part of the reason they've started doing it. So
I think it's dumb.
It's dumb. Not a fan.
No, I'm not a fan of it whatsoever.
Not a fan.
Because a lot of the times, a lot of the games you present in that time frame will get delayed anyways. And Showcase is always about getting people excited about the present and the future. And the future being like a game to look forward to. Like, I'm not saying reveal a game that's 4 years away. I'm like, I don't think there's anything wrong with revealing a game that's 2 years away. So like, I don't think there's anything wrong with showing a game that's targeting 2028. Personally, but
part of me just wonders if like they're so nervous about the way game development is these days that they don't even want to announce something 2 years out that could be cancelled.
Well, that's a problem.
And that's a pretty dire take, but part of me wonders, is that the real reason we don't get things further out? Could very well be, bro.
Yeah, I suppose.
I don't know.
Id Software. They are about, they released their game a year ago, Doom the Dark Ages. So I wouldn't necessarily think anything new, but they do have a DLC.
Isn't there a DLC?
Supposed to be coming, which they have said basically is like a sequel. So I guess the question is, how close is it? Is it close enough where it comes out this fall and you would want to reveal it here? Or do you let them reveal it at QuakeCon? With that said,
I think it'll probably be here.
I think it's going to be here. I think we'll see.
I think it's here. I agree.
What it's up to with this DLC. Machine Games, I think, just released Indiana Jones on the Switch 2. they're, it's been a year and a half removed from Indiana Jones. They do work pretty fast. So do we expect anything from them here? Do we expect a Wolfenstein 3 teaser trailer?
I'm gonna say no. I think it's probably too early.
You're dashing my heart
still.
here, guys. You're dashing my heart, my dreams.
Again, just a prediction. I'm gonna say no. I don't think we see.
This is the one like team in one game that I'll just put it on my heart. I'll predict with my heart instead of my brain. Because it's like every year I'd be like, Splinter Cell, this is finally the year Sam Fisher returns. And every year I just get hurt. And I keep on coming back every year, Jez, only to get hurt again. So,
well,
the heart wants what the heart wants.
Yeah. I've heard that Ubisoft's going to be at the PlayStation showcase. So
yeah, there's the Rayman game that leaked.
Yeah.
And probably like another look at Assassin's Creed something. Assassin's Creed
Pirate
game, Assassin's Creed 4, yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know what? With that said, like I mentioned, since I have battered wife syndrome, I'm gonna say Wolfenstein 3 is there. I don't know how that coincides with Blade closing, because like if you're, I don't know, I sort of feel like Wolfenstein would close at that point. You know, they have the Amazon Prime TV show coming up, which they might synergize nicely with something they couldn't do with Fallout. But yeah, I'll probably end up being wrong about this, but it doesn't matter because I want to see it, and if it's not there, next year I'll say it'll be there because we got to see Wolfenstein 3 eventually.
I want to know. I want to know what people in chat want to see. So, chat, let us know what you want to see as well while we're discussing this.
ZeniMax Online Studios, Jez, and that's
yeah.
You're of course going to get your Fallout 76 piece of the show, of course.
Yeah, there's going to be some Fallout 76.
Fallout 76 and Elder Scrolls 6 absolutely will be there. They've been there every single year since they acquired them, and it's the same thing every single year. It's everybody's pee break. You know, because they typically do them back to back. It's like, okay, fine, whatever. Sure. Halo Studios. I think this is pretty apparent. Halo Campaign Evolved is there now. Originally, I had Fable opening the show. Because it was like, you're going to come out, we're going to have Fable, we're going to have a release date, we're starting off strong, right? And we're going to end with Blade. But with Fable being 2027, I don't know if it's a candidate anymore for starting the show. And then the more I think about maybe how the show is going to be structured, it's the 25th anniversary. It's also 25th anniversary of Halo. It almost kind of writes itself that Halo would be the thing you start with and give a release date right away. Like, here's maybe like the next game from Xbox in general. And you know what? It's actually releasing next month. And here's the franchise that started it all. It's part of our... Like, it sort of synergizes with the 25th anniversary, right? It's like, it's not going to end, but you can easily see it starting it. So that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say Halo Studios, Halo Combat Evolved, or Campaign Evolved, starts the show with the release date in late July. You agree? Disagree? I know how much you love...
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know how much you love Halo.
Yeah, some people have said that I was teasing Halo is going to be the PlayStation showcase. Like,
what?
I was talking about that earlier. I genuinely don't think Campaign Evolved will be the PlayStation showcase for reference.
Is this a thing where you're going to be where people are going to be on Twitter and say Jez Corden said that Halo's going to be at the PlayStation showcase? Are we going to have to deal with that now?
Yeah. No, we're not, because I'm putting the kibosh on that. I don't think
you
Halo's
just said.
Be the PlayStation showcase.
What would you think if it was there? Like imagine
if it was
how would you feel if it was? But it doesn't make any sense because Xbox has their own show literally 5 days later. So why would it be there?
Exactly, but it'd be like I just Can you imagine?
Could you imagine? Yeah, could you imagine? Yes, I could
Uh,
imagine, but luckily it won't be.
the chaos.
But of course, I'm not
The
surprised people would be
chaos.
like, it sort of says like anything when you say something like people are like, oh well, Jez says this, so therefore it's happening. You know, you got to be careful about how you word things, man.
Yeah, maybe.
You
Maybe.
know,
I don't think it's gonna be the show, but I do think Campaign Evolved's obviously gonna be at the Xbox
clearly,
show. It's the
clearly,
but and they kind of said that, like, they're not having any strategy stuff there. But I
yeah,
wouldn't expect them to say, "Oh, and by the way, going forward, every Halo game is gonna
no,
be exclusive to Xbox." I don't think they're gonna say that, because increasingly, I think probably nothing's gonna be exclusive to Xbox in the future. But, we'll see what happens.
what do you think about my idea of starting the show?
I think yes. I think it probably will start the show. I think
Yeah,
it will start the show. I think I like that. Yeah.
yeah, because here we have the true end of the
Blade in the
show
middle.
played in the middle. We have the coalition who are ending really like there's the end of the show, then there's the actual direct after the show, and the coalition have that with a extended look for the first time at Gears of War E-Day. I know how excited you are for this game, Jez. You love Gears.
Mhm.
We haven't really seen much of this at all. Like we saw the original trailer 2 years ago. He got people really hyped for the return of Dom and Marcus. Emergence Day, and it's coming out this year. I mean, doubling down. You know, just really quick tangent. The whole Fable shit. I also want to point out that because I remember I think I was talking to Cog about this, or maybe it was somebody else. It was like, well, you know, the Twitter account and their PRs doubling down. They're replying to people being like, "See you in autumn," and like my response has always been, PR people don't know shit. Like,
This is pretty evident of that, I
it
think.
doesn't matter what the Twitter account says because they wouldn't know any of these decisions. And that just
Yeah.
reinforces my belief seeing what happened today with Fable getting delayed. Because Playground Games was doubling down about Fable releasing this fall. And it was until, well, it wasn't. So whenever you see this where a game's account or whatever is saying certain things, the person behind it wouldn't know shit. Because then I had people telling me, Jazz, like, they gotta get, like, legal. If they can't just tweet whatever they want. You just gotta get approved by all these people ahead of them, and those people would know. And it's like bullshit. You know, I'm not saying that, like, they don't have to get approval to tweet anything, but, like, it wouldn't be that deep of a scenario of like, well, they gotta, you know, the person they're asking would
Mm,
know or whatever. It's like, no, it's like as of now, it's still settled for autumn. It hasn't been announced, and like those people who are doing that stuff, like they don't have a clue. Those delay things are decided above their pay grade. So this is another example of, you know, I don't necessarily always believe that stuff. I just wanted to point that out. But
well pointed.
back to the coalition. What do you want to see from this, Jez? We're probably gonna get 30 minutes. What do you, as like Mr. Gears, want to see from this Gears Direct?
I want to see a genuine evolution. Like
Okay.
the idea of like the Gears sort of. I really like what they did with Gears 5. I like that, it went a little bit further than typical Gears experience. Like you had the jack with the upgrades, and it was very, very light customization, but it was more in that sort of Mass Effect-y kind of direction where it was like, leveling up and customizing your playstyle a little bit. I'd like to see even more of that. I'd like to see an evolution of what that means, because I do think in the year of our Lord 2026, you need to do a little bit more with your gameplay. And there's a lot of aspects of Gears combat which I think are ripe for evolution, like the melee combat. Like the universe where you just run up to an enemy, press B, and then you get sort of like a scripted animation, whether you're standing in front or behind. There's so much they could do with that. They could make it more contextual. They could make it more kind of glory kills and executions. Like we've seen like a lot of games innovate on the execution style gameplay. and you know, and also like the melee mixed with shooting gameplay. So I would like to see a genuine evolution of the gameplay universe in the Gears of War stuff, but also like I just hope they nail the vibes because Emergence Day is a pretty dire time, I suppose. It's when they're like they're caught unawares by this subterranean threat. They got no idea what's going on. It should be like chaos and misery and you know, I want to go back to like how dark Gears 2
Like
was, like
more.
especially
Do you want it to be
Gears
like more survival horror-y?
not necessarily survival horror, but like some of the themes and the beats, like Gears 2 sticks with you to this day. Some of the stuff that happens in that game. But like I want it to go back to like that really like human story of like the locusts are like they're not like a cartoon villain. They are fucked up, man. I want to get back to that universe. Um so that's kind of what I want to see from it, like in a nutshell. I don't know if you've got any personal takes. Like a lot of people are like, I know a lot of people are high on Gears as a multiplayer game. I've never enjoyed Gears multiplayer. It's
Yeah.
not for me.
Do you think we'll see like multiplayer and horde and stuff?
I do, and I think they'll announce a This is my prediction: is they'll probably announce a multiplayer beta.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, we'll clearly get the release date, right?
Yeah, I think so.
What do you think right now? You think it's September? Because I'm looking at like there is that
August or September.
What?
August or September, yeah.
Well, there is. So they do have Gears of War. Like, I don't know if you remember this, but like AAA Lucha, like the company that WWE owns, they're like Gears of War E-Day is like sponsoring like one of their pay-per-views on like September 13th.
What do they call it
Triple
now?
Mania, I think it's called.
Triple Mania,
big
Triple
thing.
Mania, yeah.
Which sort of implies either the game's coming out that week or has already been out or about to come out. So you're probably, you wouldn't be, it's like you wouldn't be advertising that if it was coming out like in October or something. So I'm thinking it already be out at that point. So we're looking at like potentially, I don't know, like September 10th, September 3rd. Maybe September 17th, which is the week of Wolverine on PlayStation, which if you're also releasing on PlayStation, maybe you want to avoid that because I think people would just buy Wolverine. So I would think it's earlier, but yeah, I think we'll see that. Yeah, like personally for me, it's all about the campaign. I don't really care about the multiplayer. I played the multiplayer for sure and the other ones, and it's just kind of like, The Gears 1 was fresh. There wasn't anything like it, and it was enjoyable. But I also like it's like you're either good at it or you're not. And I never really could get the hang of the Gnasher like other people could.
I am so bad at it, bro.
So
I'm so bad at it.
As like the other Gears started to come out, I'd play less and less multiplayer. I was always still a fan of Horde. But then even like I just played less and less Horde because it's like once you've kind of done the Left 4 Dead stuff, it's like you've done it once, you've done it twice, you've done it 5 times. It's like whatever. Like I don't really. But it'd be cool to see how they iterate on it, how they evolve the multiplayer, if they evolve the multiplayer at all, or how they evolve Horde. But my focus will be on the single player. I
loved Horde, man. I loved it. Yeah. And I didn't like what they did with it. I really liked I liked how it was in like 4 where you could like hunker down and like make like tons of turrets and, defend a point. But then they're kind of like, we're going to make it more dynamic and they wanted you to move around the map more. And I didn't like that. I liked like the actual defend a point forever gameplay. And the meta ended up being like, you don't even like really use the turrets and stuff because you have to abandon them all the time. I didn't like that. So I hope like they go back to what OG Horde. I don't know if they changed it over time, but like I bounced well out of that very, very quickly. I hope they don't spread themselves too thin though, because I also think Gears 5 spread itself way too thin. Like they had like all these extra modes,
And the
like
escape mode.
that escape
Yep.
mode, which nobody really played, and and it ended up being like a sort of jack of all trades, master of none kind of thing. So I hope, like, while I do want it to be ambitious, I hope there is a sort of degree of focus which stops it from feeling diffuse, I guess is what I would say. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for that. I'm hoping. I'm also like cautious. I'm cautious about being too excited for it because, like, what if it's bad? Kind of thing. So I'm kind of like I'm trying not to overhype myself on it. So I'm very much like trying to be a wait and see kind of mentality right now. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah. We have Compulsion Games, and I think both me and you would say they're not going to be there. They shipped South of Midnight last year. I don't think they're in any position to show anything right now. So, right? You'd agree with me. No Compulsion. Same thing. Double Fine Productions. They just shipped Kiln. Keeper is less than a year old. I know, like, the rumors are they're working on a bigger project now or whatever, but I would not expect to see Double Fine or Compulsion for the next couple showcases, probably.
Yeah, I've heard Double Fine is working on a more ambitious project, but I'm also kind of nervous about what happens to them, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, if you talk about hard choices, and if you got to close studios down, it's kind of like, well,
for what it's worth, I don't think they get closed down. I think they get they go indie, like Toys for Bob did.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, it's certainly possible.
Because I do think like Tim Schafer's probably got. I think Tim Schafer would have the industry clout to take that studio independent, but
yeah, but either way,
probably a different argument.
No Double Fine, no Compulsion. Now, In Exile Entertainment, we sort of already talked about. You believe Clockwork is closing the show. I believe it'll be there. I just don't think it's closing. Release date. Do you think? Because I recently was on Defining Duke with Maddie and Cog, and he has this theory that, and he may look like a genius because he said Fable was going to get delayed to next year, and he said that basically Clockwork was going to take its place and release like in October or whatever. And I was like, hey, I messaged him earlier. I'm like, you got half the prophecy right. Now, if you take Xbox,
I don't like that idea.
But if you take Xbox at their word about why they delayed Fable, about having Fable giving it its own moment in the sun, does that, and if Clockwork were to replace it, does that imply that like they're okay with Clockwork not having an own moment in the sun? Unless it
that'd be
unless it released like
be insane.
Like end of September or something where it wasn't like in competition with GTA, which is why I think In Exile's game will be 2027. And before I would say like it was a March-April release, which I guess it still could be, but with Fable like kind of manning the fort in February, I'm wondering if like Compulsion, like if they decide that give it a little bit more time and In Exile could be a little bit more September-ish next year. But I don't know, maybe May would be a good time.
Yeah, I know, May, like
April, May,
spring or late spring. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like after Fable, you bounce straight into Clockwork Rev. I like that idea.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. So I'm thinking it shows up, and I'm thinking it's next year. Mojang Studios, I mean, they're not going to show up in Minecraft because they never do, but they do have Minecraft Dungeons 2, which wasn't mentioned in the Xbox post, but it was in the image they used. So I'm expecting to see Minecraft Dungeons 2, probably with the release date. I have no idea when to expect it. Maybe August. There's a what? There's a leak for it.
There's been some leaks about Minecraft Dungeons 2, like some gameplay kind of stuff.
Oh, what
does sound interesting? Like I enjoyed Minecraft Dungeons 1 a little bit, but I'm not sure if it's the thing that I've got to nail for me with Minecraft Dungeons 2 is like holding my attention, I suppose, in endgame and stuff. Because the endgame, the base end game loop was not great, I think. But I don't know.
Hmm.
So can they improve upon that aspect of it? I suppose. But it could be big. Like clearly the original was big enough to be worthy of a sequel, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first game did incredibly well, even if it's not a game I particularly care too much about. Although it seems like it. I mean, is Mr. Diablo? I mean, this is a game up your alley.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm not the biggest Minecraft fan in the universe, but I'll check it out.
Ninja Theory. I think both me and you would probably agree they're not ready to show whatever they're working on. So I wouldn't expect them. It's been what 2 years I think since Senua Saga.
Yeah, I'm not expecting Ninja Theory there.
Now, did you claim that the game they were working on was Hellblade 3, or did you just say that the next game they're working on is more of an actual game then?
I've heard that, like, yeah, the next game is Hellblade 3, and it's also going to be more of an actual game, I think.
All right.
I don't know how true that is. It's not usual sourcing, so take that with a pinch of salt, but we'll see what happens. But I also think if that is true, it's probably not going to be here, right?
Yeah, I would imagine it's not. Obsidian Entertainment. Do you feel like they? I sort of feel like Grounded 2 is going to be here. Like Xbox always has their live service stuff show up. So you Fallout 76 and your Elder Scrolls, your Sea of Thieves. Like Grounded 2 is also a game they're very fond of. So I don't expect to see like Avowed again or man, I guess maybe you could say Outer Worlds 2, like DLC if they have any. But I feel like maybe there's an update for Grounded, maybe like a 1.0 release time frame because it'd been I don't know, like didn't it like come out in early access? Like that was like right around this time last year, right?
Which game is that? Sorry,
Grounded 2.
Is it really that long ago?
I mean, it's last year when they announced it. They released 3 games last year.
Would they be announcing 1.0 or maybe like
that's
a big
what I'm saying, like where
something?
Grounded 2 shows up and they announce a 1.0, or they announce like new updates for the game.
Yeah, I think it's probably 1.0 is probably far off. I think it's probably more of a big update, I would say.
Yeah, but you're not expecting like Tim Kane's new game announcement, right? Or if Josh Scheuer is working on something like let's imagine hypothetically that they're working on Fallout New Vegas 2. Like you don't expect that to get announced here, right?
Don't expect. Well, I don't know, man. Maybe one of them, maybe.
Well, this
like
is
if you're gonna do like
show,
bits
so
and pieces about,
you gotta go out on a limb here, Jez. What do you think? Because I'm gonna say no. So
I'm gonna roll the dice and say I think maybe they will tease a Fallout remaster project. I'm gonna go out on a limb.
All right, that's good. Playground Games. I mean, we already know they're gonna be there with Fable, and we know it's coming out in February. I'm excited to get another look at the game. Hopefully, it's more involved, a deeper look at it. But I can't imagine Forza Horizon being there. I know they still have like expansions to do or what have you, but that seems to be way too early for an expansion like announcement. So I'm at least expecting Fable. I don't think we'll see Forza.
Yeah, I think we'll see Fable, but maybe we get a trailer for Forza Horizon at the PlayStation State of Play.
Do you think?
Because it's yeah, maybe just to remind people that it's coming. Yeah. But I think that's probably the most we'll see of it.
I don't know. They didn't have Forza Horizon. Forza Horizon 5 never showed up at a State of Play, and it still sold well. I don't think you need to show up at any of these like the showcases to make an impression.
I don't think you need to, but if we're going to see it anywhere, I think it would be there. I don't think.
What if they did it at the Xbox show where they did like an accolades trailer or something, and then they they
Like
had
just
it like releasing
live
like on
trailer. Yeah,
PlayStation
maybe.
in September or something at the Xbox show. Like I don't
I
think
suppose they
people
could do that. Yeah.
they could, but I don't think that would be well received by the fans.
Yeah, but you know, do they really care about what the fans think?
Uh,
I don't know.
yeah, I guess. Rare. I think both me and you would say Sea of Thieves, as it's always there. You know, Sea of Thieves has been at every single Xbox show since they came out.
It's wild.
Even like the ones before it, like when it was in like 2015, 2016, like it was like always it's been a staple at the Xbox shows.
Like
So
a lot of Sea of Thieves fans, like it seems like a lot of Sea of Thieves fans are not super happy about the game's direction at the moment. Like some people were talking about on Xbox 2 Patreon, for example. So I suppose it's an opportunity for them to like either announce something new, like you have to wonder, like with Everwild being cancelled, what are the rest of the studio working on? Because they're clearly not all working on Sea of Thieves, right? They're clearly not all working on Sea of Thieves. So, you know, proper hater in chat says Rare's going to preview their next project here. That's my prediction. But like they also said, like these are only like games that are 12 months out. So is it too early for Rare to really show something new? You know, I'm sure Sea of Thieves fans might be happy if they said like and announcing coming in the future Sea of Thieves 2. Like if they were gonna announce something that is further afield, that is like sort of guaranteed. Sea of Thieves 2 would be something that to announce, but I'm not expecting a huge splash from huge splash. Get it? Because it's the sea. I'm not expecting a huge splash from Rare, but so yeah, I'm gonna say not a lot from Rare this time round.
I mean, they haven't really been a lot from where uh, at all. Really, it's always just been Sea of Thieves. Like
Yeah, I
Everwild
guess.
kind of just they showed it 2 years in a row, and I think it just disappeared and never saw it again. So
Yeah.
Turn 10,
I
obviously
guess.
they're not going to be there. They just helped with Forza Horizon 6.
Mm.
Undead Labs, Jez, State of Decay 3. Do you think it'll be there? Because this is my candidate for a game that's not at the showcase, but is at the upcoming Dev Direct early next year, kind of thing.
Yeah, I see that.
Right, because you got to think like, hey, they
That's
do
a
the
good.
Dev
That's a
Directs, and
good point.
sometimes I know like there's like there's like an alpha going on and stuff, and there certainly could have a new trailer here for sure. But
Mm.
this is gonna be
I suppose.
my pick for a game that's skips this thing and then shows up at a Dev Direct in January.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think like what we've seen of State of Decay 3, we've seen a good amount of gameplay of State of Decay 3. And there's probably not much more
No,
they
we
can
haven't.
show.
No, we haven't. We've hardly seen
No,
anything
no,
about the
no, no,
game.
no. No, we've seen how it moves. We've seen shooting. We've
Uh,
seen melee combat. We've seen some
sure,
enemies.
sure.
So we've seen the game in motion. I think all that's left to really say is like, what is truly new and different here? Which is probably more, like you say, more of a deep dive kind of thing. So maybe that is a dev direct. So I'm gonna agree with you that maybe at most we see a brief glimpse of State of Decay 3 gameplay, just to remind people that it's coming. Obviously, the State of Decay 3 alpha is going on right now, closed alpha. So congratulations to anyone who's lucky enough to get into that. And I think there is a chance that we could see a little trailer just to remind people that it's coming. But I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say they save that for Dev Direct. I agree with you.
Okay, all right. World's Edge. Do you think the studio that everybody sort of forgets about? Very prolific, like Age Mythology, Age of Empires, and stuff. Do they have anything new to show off?
I think if World's Edge has anything significant to show off, that's a Gamescom thing.
Okay.
Age of Empires is very European coded, so I think no on World's Edge.
I was
I
gonna
think
say
no.
no too, but I've said that before, and then they do show up with like Age of Mythology or Age of Empires DLC, you know, with trailers and stuff.
I think that's. I think that's Gamescom. I think that's Gamescom.
Right. Xbox Game Studios Publishing, so stuff like OD. Do you think we see Kojima's project?
I'm gonna say yes.
Oh,
I'm gonna bet yes.
I'm gonna say no. Because I'm thinking that's next year. So, but I mean, you could be right. You could be right. I think we both.
That's my guess.
I think we both agree that Spyro is going to be there from. Man, I forgot the name of the studio already.
Toys for Bob.
Toys for Bob. I think Spyro is going to be there.
Toys for Bizzle.
Do you think we get any sort of announcements for fan favorite? You know, like Matthew Ball coming out and saying like, "Oh, I want to focus on like story franchises at Xbox," and like, do you think we get anything like, here's a new Mech Assault, here's a Banjo, here's a, you know, like something from the vaults where it's not necessarily like, it's just to show like we're working on this type thing from them.
I think one win would be getting Mech Assault on back and pat for one thing, because there was always that weird licensing fear with the IP holders. So part of me's like, yeah, could that be a big win? Like Mech Warrior 5 is actually like, it's still doing pretty well. Like I think they announced a new game or a new DLC again recently after they released like they released Mech Warrior 5 clans. Microsoft owns the rights to publish games based on that IP, but they're concerned that they don't own the full rights to the franchise, and Microsoft's prone to getting sued. So they're kind of like, we want to be hands off with that and make sure we're only doing things with it that are sort of like within the context of the very, very old licensing deal we did. And I think it's a shame, because I don't know if you know much about the BattleTech universe, but it's a very deep universe with a lot of lore, a lot of potential. You know, it's got like the whole tabletop game, like tons and tons of lore, and it's got like a lot of beloved games of fans. Like I don't know if Microsoft would be keen to invest in something like that. So I don't know if we see MechWarrior, but I'd love to see Mech Assault hit back and pat. Maybe like one of the things all up is just like, here's a montage of new games coming to backwards compatibility to celebrate the 25th anniversary. And it's like stuff people have been asking for, like Transformers, maybe by some miracle Mech Assault. Maybe they've got like I don't even know who owns the franchise these days. I don't know if like the company that owns the franchise to the BattleTech universe, I don't know if they even still exist as an entity, which is one of the issues. But maybe they get Mech Assault there, like, you know, some of that old school stuff. Yeah, so I'm gonna bet this round. I think we get an ID at Xbox montage of upcoming cool ID at Xbox games, and I think we also get a little montage of like, here's a bunch of upcoming Xbox backwards compatibility games. Check out more on one of our sister shows, because you know they do like the live show in tandem with the showcase.
Yeah.
So I think they do a montage of backwards compatible games that are going to come, maybe some FPS boost games. And then check out our sister show for more information. So yeah, I think we are going to see some backwards compatibility at this show.
I think they saved that for 25th anniversary, personally. But what about some? You know, there's that rumored like, hey, those the Arkham guys supposedly working with Xbox on their game. I don't even know if that's even a real thing. It's just like rumors. The 100 Stars, I think, is the name of the company.
I have no idea on that one.
Yeah.
No idea.
What about third party stuff? So let me ask you, like, Final Fantasy VII Part 3?
Yeah, so
is that a Sony show? Is that a Jeff show? Is that a Nintendo Direct? Would Xbox have it? Like,
I think there's a good chance. We see some Japanese stuff here.
Yeah.
So
Persona 6?
Probably Persona 6, Stranger Than Heaven, maybe again.
Metro
That's
again,
Metro again.
or is it just like, hey, you already did these sort of things? I got it.
Yeah, maybe, but also like I don't know. Depends how long the show is, I guess. I suppose we get into a point where there's a lot to pack in here, but I think there's also like Beast and Reincarnation is launching on Game Pass relatively soon, and obviously they got a marketing deal with them, so I think Beast and Reincarnation's a shoe in. I also think like the Stalker 2 DLC, the expansion that's coming in the summer, that could be there. I think Metro could be there. I think Persona 6 could be there, and I think Final Fantasy 3 Part 3 would be a big headliner and a big coup as well, because Final Fantasy is like the game that's oftentimes associated with PlayStation, and for Xbox to land that would be a very it'd be a big deal. I think it's symbolically big deal, but also honestly, Persona 6 would be a symbolically big deal as well. So the big rumor is obviously Persona 6.
Well, Persona
Quest
4 revival, I think for sure, right? Because that's sort of
yeah.
But everybody wants to know about Persona 6.
Dragon Quest 12, is it 12? Just announced they've rebooted the whole game. So that's probably not going to be there. I do think there'll be some Square Enix stuff there, which would be fun and fantastic. But I'm kind of hoping that we see some stuff out of left field. I honestly want to see some new stuff. There's also like Blood of the Dawnwalker, which is Xbox Play Anywhere. I've noticed. I didn't know Blood of the Dawnwalker was Xbox Play Anywhere, so maybe that could be there. Blood of the Dawnwalker, for those who don't know, is from the
Witcher guys.
The Witcher 3 ex Witcher developers. It looks very, very Witcher 3 coded. So,
but quick tangent on that.
Sorry,
talking about Witcher.
I know where you go. Oh boy.
I saw you say that you're more excited for the Witcher expansion than GTA 6.
Easily.
At this point.
Easily, bro.
How crazy is it for a game like that to get a DLC 12 years later, whatever? And think about it, like Witcher 3 is 12 years old. And then they announced it's like Witcher 3 sold 65 million copies.
Crazy. So it's I don't want to say it's unprecedented, but it's very rare that this happens.
Yeah, and you saw their public posts where they mention how many developers they have, and then the breakdown of what the developers are working on. So they have so many people working on Witcher 4, so many people working on Cyberpunk 2, and then there's like 2 other like code names they're working on. They've also said that Witcher 4 won't have any expansions. They want to do like Witcher 5, 6, and 7 or whatever the heck.
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned to me that they think this is all like them trying to sell themselves to somebody by like showing off like the different projects they have and all these sort of things, and then like, oh, Take-Two is looking to acquire somebody. So like, how would the internet react if like Take-Two bought like CD Projekt Red or something, you know?
Well, Asher was saying like inorganic growth, acquisitions, and also Matt Ball's analysis often talks about like developing games in Europe is so much cheaper. You know, is that an acquisition target for Microsoft again? Maybe. I mean, but then you've also got to look at like the European regulators are not very happy with America right now. So I honestly think if Microsoft targeted CD Projekt Red for an acquisition, I think that gets blocked all up, outright blocked. I don't think that happens.
No, I don't think so. In what way?
I think it does. Bro.
The Xbox will just be
because
like, we'll get
America
we'll get rid of GOG, so there's nothing there.
They've already got rid of GOG.
Okay, well then it's just so why would
GOG already went independent?
Okay, so then what's the issue?
Lends more.
I don't see the issue.
America bad, bro.
That's the issue. Sure, I guess in that frame, but I don't think you can necessarily say that in a regular thing like, oh, we're blocking this because we don't like America. You'd have to make some sort of arguments.
They can make up whatever they want.
Yeah, I guess.
But I'm sure Microsoft would love to have that studio under their umbrella.
Sure.
You know, it'd be great. It'd be great for Xbox PC. Obviously, it's a big PC game, and I think a lot of what's informing their strategy moving forward is like, how can we grow Xbox PC? None of the CD Projekt Red games are on Xbox PC. Not a single one. None of them have Xbox Play Anywhere. You can get There's a proprietary cloud save system which you can use, but you have to buy the game twice. Which, you know, considering how often Witcher 3 is on sale, not even that. It's not even a big deal. But, you know, it's not in their ecosystem, right? They've never brought it to PC, and I've often thought that's so weird, because like Microsoft demonstrated their PC stuff in partnership with CD Projekt Red many times. So I guess it's just it's just pure money. Like nobody uses Xbox PC, so like that's probably it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how we even got on this tangent, but
well, you mentioned Witcher
all day, every day. I would be more excited for anything CD Projekt Red does over Rockstar, and that's not because I don't like Rockstar. I think Rockstar is definitely a top 5 studio for me. I just love CD Projekt Red. I just love all of their games. I just love that studio so much, and I know a lot of people working there, so it's like this is maybe a bit of bias that way. And also, I just got this nostalgia for everything they do that I don't have for Rockstar necessarily. You know, not in the same way. I never connected with GTA like I did with CD Projekt Red's games. Like even The Witcher 1, man. Even The Witcher 1, like Witcher 1 is if you played The Witcher 1, you know it's
I didn't play Witcher 1.
I
played Witcher 2. I played Witcher 3. Although I didn't beat Witcher 3, which with this expansion coming next year and Witcher 4, like I put a lot of time into Witcher 3, but I never ended up beating it. So I'm going to have to go back.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and
actually absolutely need to go back.
I have like 60 hours. I have like 60 hours in Witcher 3, and I never actually finished it. So
the final act of Witcher 3 is mind blowing, and that's the base game.
Yeah,
the base game.
I haven't played the two.
Did you do Hearts of Stone?
I didn't do the 2 DLCs. I mean, I own them.
The DLCs are.
So with this expansion, so with Songs of the Past, the expansion coming in 2027, are we thinking Witcher 4 is 2028?
God, that'd be crazy.
Or this, I mean, would they release it the same year, like where the DLC's early in 2027 and then Witcher 4 is late 2027? Like, I don't know. I sort of feel like Witcher 4 is not coming out next year, right? It's got to be 2028.
No, I would imagine not. Yeah, it's got to be 2028. Drunken Shaman in chat says Witcher 1 is unplayable. I disagree, sir.
Well, they are doing the remake of it, right?
They are doing a remake, but the Witcher 1 is a strange game, I admit.
Strange game.
But the story is still so good. Like it's like you push through the strange combat. It has it has very strange combat. You push through that combat and then you end up with like story's just so good. It just helps you get through it, or at least in my nostalgic 20-something-year-old brain, it's good. Maybe it isn't as good as I'm remembering. I just love the Witcher universe, man. I just love that shit. But yeah, boy howdy, it is janky. I still remember the Witcher when I saw the Witcher 2 trailer for the first time. Remember the Witcher 2 trailer, like the CGI trailer?
Great trailer.
It's still one of the best trailers.
That trailer stole me on the game. I didn't know anything about The Witcher. Like I didn't know anything about the books. I saw that trailer. I'm like, this looks cool as shit. The Witcher 2 Assassin of Kings.
I think Witcher 2 is like probably for me the best Xbox 360 console exclusive. For me.
Yeah, I guess you could make that argument. For sure.
For me, that was the best exclusive by a country mile. I don't know if it came to PS3 eventually or not, but it was for a time 360 exclusive. And for me, that was the best exclusive. I just like this game's just heaven. And a lot of people saying the combat was shitty. And I concede once again, combat was weird. But you could eventually work around it. If you play the game how it wants to be played, kind of. Because Geralt is not supposed to be a super soldier. He's supposed to like struggle. And I think they're really going for that in The Witcher 2 and The Witcher 1. But I don't know. I just love that game. Chris R says, have any super chats been read? We should get through some of the super chats. They're getting backed up, bro.
Yeah, I know. We'll just wait. Get through them. We have Chris R, who says, Jez, regarding the game margins, haven't we seen the outside of Forza and Sea of Thieves. Xbox games haven't been performing well on other platforms. Is the brand damage worth less than 1 million units?
Man, it's really, really hard to say. I mean, that's one of the issues is brand equity is hard to measure on a spreadsheet, which I think is why they've put things like these surveys out to be like, this is how much brand damage we estimate is happening as a result of exclusives, and here's the evidence. Look at the player voice. Look at the voting, the feedback we get, because there's a bias in the data when you're measuring things by way of spreadsheet. All they're seeing is like, we sold 1 million units on another platform. There's no way to measure monetary damage, and I think that's why there's a bias there. I think we talked about this with John Sick and Mechanico on Xbox 2+1, that like corporate inertia and this sort of corporate accountability structure that exists. Everything has to be able to run through a spreadsheet. How can you measure brand damage accurately in a spreadsheet? And then the finance department will come back and say, well, we've got these 1 million sales, or even like less. We've got these 500,000 game sales, which, you know, you could argue, if you're just playing devil's advocate, you could argue in the other direction where it's like, this game sold so little that it couldn't have done any brand damage because nobody cared. Which is probably like the argument that they're using internally. So I agree. I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze. I don't think it is worth the brand damage. But I'm also like not trying to exist within this corporate structure. Corporations suck, you know, and I think that's where the, you know, the penny drops, I guess, or the dollar drops. It's in that kind of structure. So, but, you know, Argetto in chat says Sony figured it out. Yeah, they sure did. And I think that's like I think that's for a lot of Xbox fans, is like, there's just a very obvious example of none of this being true. Like, you don't need to put logos in the trailers or the showcase because Sony doesn't do it. You don't need to sell on other platforms because Sony's so super profitable without doing that. You know, like why can Sony do that but Xbox can't do that? Why can't Xbox invest in trying to get to that level instead of, you know, treating its consumers and its customers like they're second fiddle? And I really hate that universe, Rand. I hate that universe because in that model, PlayStation becomes Xbox's lead platform because potentially they've got more users. So it biases Xbox. The math biases Xbox to prioritize people off their own ecosystem. And I hate that. So you have to rely on the political will of Asher and Phil or Matt and whoever else. You have to rely on their political will to try and push through the bean counters and say, like, we are doing long-term damage for short-term gain. And I think that's where, as a community and as a lot of these discussions, that's where a lot of this discussion falls upon, is like, how can we convince them that what they're doing is in the long term very problematical? But drum roll, it is what it is.
True. No, there we go. There's a drum roll.
It is what it is.
Champagne Supernova says, show Xbox logos only or none at all. How hard is it? Well, I guess pretty hard. Dead Word 2000 says, the player voice is everyone avoiding the platform and ecosystem. Super Duck says, how would you feel about them making Xbox first-party games ecosystem exclusive and leaving multiplayer games like COD and Forza multi-platform? I mean, it kind of seems like, I don't know, the way they might eventually go. Because, like, Forza's never going exclusive again, for sure. Too big. Makes so much money. But not everything's Forza. So, I don't know, maybe Xbox doesn't change shit. Maybe it's like, well, we actually did reevaluate the exclusivity like we said in our blog post, and we determined that we're not going back to it. You know what I mean? Like, we thought long and hard about it, and nope. So, I don't know. I don't necessarily think we won't get an answer about what they want to do for a while. Mr. Irishman says, seen doom and gloom going around again, but I'm not there yet myself. However, EA and PS5 will decide if I will continue to invest in Xbox or move on. Well, I mean, I think both me and Jez, I think we both agree. I think EA will be on PS5. I guess my only sort of question, and will it be there the first day? Or, maybe it's a timed exclusive like Forza, where it's like it'll come, but it's a few months later. I don't know. I sort of feel like the Gears Reloaded being on PlayStation is sort of that's setting up Gears as a franchise to come there. So unless they completely shifted, for lack of a better word, and it's gears, completely shifted gears, I don't see them like not putting Gears E-Day on there. But I don't know. We'll see what happens next week. I mean, also it's like the whole idea of them being like, well, the logos are going to be there. So if Gears E-Day is going to be there, if you don't see the PlayStation logo on there, then I guess you know your answer, whether or not whatever platforms it's coming to. So if you see the logo there and it, PS5's there, then you know. It's just a matter of, I guess, is it day one or not? Let's see here. What else we got? We have, why was Fable pushed back out of everything? It was the most anticipated game besides Gears. Well, they said because they wanted the game to have its at least a moment for its own, which implies that it was releasing close to Grand Theft Auto, and that Xbox was worried that it would get completely overshadowed by it. So they wanted to move it to a time where post Grand Theft Auto, where Fable could at least have a moment to itself. At least that's the reasoning. Mr. Supernova says, let's be real. Matt confirmed we're showing logo rivals who are literally trying to destroy our platform. That's cuck bastard move. They have no respect for hard play, unlike Sony and Nintendo.
Lord.
I mean, Jez, I'm telling you, the more and more I read from people, I told you, like, everything would revolve around the exclusivity and what they do with it. And it doesn't matter about shiny new gamer score badges or achievement icons or bi-weekly console updates or capitalizing the word Xbox. Like, these are all sort of surface level improvements. Everything's going to be judged on that. And you can already see people's reaction to it just based on the logo stuff. Right? So.
You're dope.
Yeah. We have Andy Hart, member for 52 months, who says, good evening, gentlemen. With the next Xbox looking to be a PC hybrid, how will Xbox get around having to pay for online when PC is free? I mean, that is the question. Both me and Jess think that if you're able to play your Steam games on that system, which it seems like you will, they have to make multiplayer free, at least for Helix. Like, I don't think it'll be a retroactive where it's free on Series X, S, or Xbox One. But it'd be free on... If you're on that device, it'd be free on that device. Juan says, any update on Ninja Theory? They've been quiet for a while. They released the game in 2024. Ported it to PlayStation the following year. I mean, I know they've been quiet, but they're probably building Hellblade 3 or whatever the next game is, and probably not ready to talk about it yet, especially if Xbox is talking about showing things in the next 12 months. I don't expect to see Hellblade 3 next year. So maybe you have them show up next year, but I it's kind of the same thing with like a Double Fine or with studios that just shipped, like Machine Games. As much as I want to see Wolfenstein 3 there, and I'm setting myself up for disappointment, there's no way they're ready to show something. Indiana Jones was a year and a half ago. id, right? The only thing they can really show is DLC. It's not like they're having a new game. Double Fines, they just shipped game. Compulsion just shipped something. So there's just some studios that are basically in the process of reloading that, basically have no chance. Like, they don't have really multiple teams that, just they won't have anything for a while, essentially. Let's see what else we have. Good old Conway says, what does Xbox give to Jeff Keighley for the SGF? Did they give him anything considering their own shows on Sunday? I feel like this is always a question, and that the answer is usually maybe a Game Pass ad. Nothing meaningful, right?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think there's going to be anything particularly big there. No, I wouldn't have
I
thought
mean,
so.
maybe you could have a Minecraft Dungeons there instead, or something. But even still, I don't know why you wouldn't just save that for your own thing. And we have the Andrew who says, "I'm expecting a Fallout 3 remaster this fall. McFarlane Toys releases for 3 Rem this fall leaked a month ago or so ago on toy sites." See, I wasn't expecting a Fallout.
What did? What leaked?
He says
Fallout.
He says McFarlane Toys releases for 3 Rem this fall leaked a month ago or so, a month or so ago on toy sites, and I guess he's saying that there's like Fallout 3 stuff on there or something. Fallout 3 toys.
Oh yeah. I just found this. So Fallout 3 Remastered mentioned in new McFarlane toy listing. Oh yeah, that was a few months ago. I forgot about it. Twisted Voxel reported this. Elite. The merchandising stuff often leaks like this.
Sure,
Fallout
yeah.
3 Remastered. 13 T45B Nuka Cola. It looks like Elite Edition figurine. Fallout 3 Remastered. T45B Power Suit Nuka Cola Edition. So yeah, that's pretty fantastic. Maybe that really does. I forgot about that. Maybe that does really raise the prospect of Fallout 3 Remastered this year. I don't know. Tom Warren's crushing dreams though in chat. Tom Warren, shout out to Tom.
Oh, shout out
great
to Tom.
Reporting in the Verge newsletter, which you guys should definitely check out.
What's Tom?
And subscribe to.
What's he crushing?
Fallout 3 Remastered def not happen this fall. Lol,
I mean, I wouldn't
Tom
think
Warren,
so.
Crusher of dreams, dasher of hopes.
I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I wouldn't think so.
Maybe not fall, but maybe within the 12-month. I would think maybe. I'm going to put a big maybe on that now with the McFarlane stuff popping off. You like McFarlane brand?
Do I like McFarlane toys?
No, just McFarlane in general, like Spawn. Spawn's McFarlane.
It's okay, I guess. I don't know.
I like me some Spawn. Why have we never had a high quality Spawn game? It feels like such a tease when like Spawn is in Mortal Kombat, and it's like, this is the perfect franchise for a video game, and it's just never materialized. Makes me sad, bro.
Yeah, I don't know.
Tangent
indeed. Hey, maybe they can actually capitalize on, the next Fallout TV season. Because I doubt it's going to be. I doubt the next Fallout season is coming this year. So if the next Fallout season is early next year, that's I think when you can do a Fallout 3 remaster. Actually synergize. So, and you don't necessarily need it to be at your showcase. So I'm not expecting it to be at this year's. Let's see, anything else? We have Analog who says, not showing logo of another platform where you can play the game is childish. However, Twitter gamers are like little children and think that if they close their eyes, it disappears.
I mean, it's not wrong, is it? I mean, at the grand scheme of things, who cares if the logo's there? And like, wouldn't you want all the information and honesty up front? That's the logical thing. But the thing is, it's kind of dumb, but it also isn't, because Sony and Nintendo don't do it. And it just kind of presents the brand as like, we're the brand who can't afford to piss off other people, because we're kind of desperate and needy. And I think in this universe of like brands sort of revolving around hype and how they show up, like Asher herself said, I think it does matter. Like, even though it's dumb, but it isn't dumb at the same time, And I think a lot of people aren't necessarily offended because they don't want the logos there. It's because they know other people don't want the logos there. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I know that having the logos there is going to have a negative impact on the brand with people who really do care about it. Because like, it's like we've talked about before. I don't care if games are exclusive or not. For me personally, I got more than enough to play, and I think for me personally, I think nothing should be exclusive, and everyone should have access to everything. Do I personally care if the logos are there? No, I don't. But I also know that a lot of people do care, and a lot of people, do think this does brand damage. And I know that no other company on earth would do this. No other corporation on earth would do this and advertise competitor platforms, whether it's Google, whether it's Nintendo or Android or whatever else. No other company on earth would do this. So you could in a way take it that like it means they're coming from a position of strength because they don't give a shit about other platforms. But I don't think that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
I think the reality is because it comes from a position of weakness. So I get both sides of it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like the conversation now is about logos, which is a dumb conversation anyways, because like I said, in the grand scheme of things, it's a meaningless like thing, but at the same time it's also a microcosm of everything with Xbox in general.
Symbolic. And I think when there is so much choice, out there, the little details and the symbolism matter. The symbolism matters. And Asher even said in her memos, she was like, "We've got to sweat every detail." This is like one of the details. This is one of the details, I think. Bad. In the grand scheme, does it really matter? No. But it's still an irritant, I suppose.
A little too.
It just feels like it just feels like Microsoft's the one that's trying to change the industry for the better, and I think it is for the better. If all the platforms were more transparent, it would be for the better. But the other platforms are not going to do that. They're just going to take advantage. They're just going to take advantage of the situation. We've seen it constantly happen.
Little Tool Shed says, "Will showing multiplats harm Asha's image with fans?" Well, I mean, it's going to be multiplats at the Xbox show. They're at multiplats at every single show, but it's like I don't know if you just joined late, but it's like I've been saying, Asha's tenure will be decided about what she decides to do with exclusivity. Whether that's right or wrong, but like with the hardcore fans, that's how it'll be perceived. Like, they were calling her Queen Empress when it seemed like there was a hope that things might change. And if things don't change and it's just the same, they won't be calling her Queen Empress anymore. I'll tell you that much. So, yeah, for some, it definitely will change. For others, it won't. And I'm sure you'll have people debating this and different sides of this stuff, because there are definitely people online that will be like, Xbox doesn't need exclusives, and they'll give their reasons why, and then other people will be like, they absolutely need exclusives and give you XYZ reasons. So
yeah.
Anyways, it's time for our Patreon questions, Jez, because we're getting close.
Let's lock in, baby.
Want to thank everybody for joining us on this preview episode for the showcase, episode 409. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, leave us a rating on Spotify or iTunes if you haven't. Check out our sponsor for this episode, surfshark.com/XB2 to get an 86% off a 2-year deal with that VPN. And you can always support us directly at patreon.com/XB2. We got a lot of different tiers. Everything's cheaper.
Okay, let's do it then.
We got to go. Glenn says, "Hey, really enjoyed the show with John. I'm wondering about the possibility of Helix running Steam, which has been called into question by some commenters. To borrow a Jezism, and what universe does Helix not run Steam? One possibility is that Helix run a special version of Windows, a version that prohibits Steam from running. Doesn't that sound insane, though? The other possibility is that Helix doesn't run Windows at all, and instead runs a traditional lockdown console OS. That would mean either that all the rumors about Helix running Windows were false, or that Xbox did a last-minute U-turn on those plans. How likely do you think these scenarios to be?" I mean, I don't... You're asking the wrong guy here. I think Helix is going to run Steam. and I don't think it'll be like super easy to get into. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think it'll run Steam. You can play your Steam games on it. As for how and all that sort of stuff, I'll leave that up to everybody else.
Yeah, I think it'll still run Steam, but I think it'll be similar to how it is on Xbox PC, where it won't necessarily be pre-installed and it'll be there for power users more than anything else. I think a lot of people just use an Xbox, like they turn it on and they use it as is. There are ways to put all the stuff on your Xbox even today, like with developer mode. A lot of people don't really jump through those hoops. So maybe they're just like, this is for power users, and we expect most people to just use the ecosystem that's pre-installed. Much like the Steam Deck, because you can install other launchers on it if they're compatible with Linux, but who does that? Not a lot of people do that. So.
All right, we have good old Colin who says, hello, Rand Jez. Questions for Jez. First, is there going to be a future game show? Also, while you're in LA and chatting with your professional brethren, are you going to be sniffing for future employment opportunities? Might we be hearing this time next year Jez Corden from The Verge or Jeremy Corden of Forbes, colleague of Jason Schreier?
Oh, God, that one's never going to happen. I don't think anyone else would hire me. So the answer to that is definitely not. But, you never know. You never know what might happen. It's a pretty crazy industry right now. But one thing I do know is that I'm going to be sticking here on Xbox 2 with the community for hopefully the rest of my days. As long as gaming exists, I will endeavor to keep this platform going with my good buddy Rand.
Is there going to be a future game show?
There is. There's going to be a bunch. There's a PC game show, a future game show.
Okay.
Not really paying much attention to those. They're usually like more indie skewing. Like they do have good games there, but I think Troy Baker's presenting it this year. They spent the big bucks on it this year, but not really something I'm really interested in watching.
We have Rave Damos says, Rand and Jez, how does one explain that on the 25th anniversary of Xbox is also when Halo, Gears, and Forza go multiplat? I guess it's just how the timelines lined up, man. I keep rolling over the optics to this and how Xbox got here. I imagine there are folks within Xbox who feel similar. The line goes up, almighty dollar certainly is king, and I'm learning that more than ever. It just doesn't actually change my gaming habits, but it does erode what makes Xbox special. Maybe I'm just an old guy yelling to himself about change. Yeah, could be the old guy yelling at clouds for sure. And I mean, yeah, think about it. 25th anniversary for Xbox, and guess what? All of our biggest games and biggest franchises, they're everywhere else. But I think that's more just, I think it's just kind of how it lined up.
But, yeah, Xbox has like 500 million. Xbox alone has 500 million monthly active users if you take into account like your Minecraft and all the rest of it. So, they've got a square for that reality. The reality that gaming became open and democratized, partially because of Steam, partially because of whatever else, I don't know. But just one of them things, man.
We have Goggles Lens. Hey guys, with the Steam Deck price increase, it has me thinking about next generation. With R&D, they can't delay Helix too long to wait for RAM to go down. With the way things are going now, I feel like if Helix comes out and it's $1,000, I would be like, I'm glad it's only $1,000 instead of more, which is a weird way of thinking about a year ago. But now it feels more like that. Now, in the past, we talked about these companies, when the price of making hardware goes down, that they would keep prices up to rake in the cash. But now with things like Steam Deck being this high, they still have it at the price for the enthusiasts or scalpers. It is a big barrier of entry into the ecosystem. So when RAM prices go down, eventually, hopefully sooner than later, I think prices of hardware will go down too. Maybe not back down to the original price, but back down to affordable prices. Like Rand said before, someone who wants a console at $1,000 is probably someone who would also pay $1,200 for it. They could have one without a controller, so you could use your old controller and bring down the price a little. And with games being cross-gen for half or more of the generation, then people who are even less likely to want to move over. And that is not having GTA 6 for that gen, unlike a PS5 and Series X. Would you guys pay $1,000 for Helix? I probably would, especially if online is free and it can be used like a PC. With Steam and mods and being able to use it like a PC. For the higher price, it would probably be for enthusiasts like us. And if prices increase even more, the first price might be cheaper than later on. What do you guys think?
I mean, I literally bought Switch because they announced there was going to be a price increase. And I thought, well, I do eventually want to play Metroid, which has been something rattling around in my mind for a fairly long amount of time. I do want to play Metroid, then I'm going to have to, just bite the bullet. And I might as well bite the bullet now before the prices go up, right? I would buy a Helix at $1,000 if it does everything that it says it's going to do. If it's going to run all my PC games and, everything else and also have free online. Like, technically, the free online aspect would pay for itself, the premium, over time, in theory. Especially if it runs all my existing games. So there's that aspect of it, but also I am an enthusiast at the end of the day. And that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know how Rand feels though.
Well, I mean, I probably would pay the price too. And also, I mean, it brings up a good point. Is like, if you normally prices would cheaper over time, but what if like the $1,000 for Helix is actually the cheaper it's ever going to be? And then if you actually wait, it actually goes up in price and it never really goes down, which is something interesting to think about and is very it's only something that's spooky. Spooky because it's happening right now, where it's like the best deal were for the early adopters, and everybody else getting it right now is getting the shaft when it comes to pricing.
It does, like, the whole thing, it makes you wonder, like, about like where all this memory shit's gonna go, because like the bottleneck isn't necessarily like they're not gonna get to a point where
I just wanted to cut in.
Oh,
Asha tweeted.
Oh, breaking news.
So Clobrel said Xbox will continue to show competitive platform logos at upcoming Xbox Game Showcase. He says, I feel like this bare minimum expectation many had was for Xbox to really focus on their own platform, at least for the time of the showcase. And Asha responded to him and said, seeing the feedback on logos, it was a miss, and I own it. We are talking about how we adjust for future Xbox shows.
Huh. That's interesting. So, do we think that it's like there were already agreements in place or something?
I mean, that's what I sort of said, where it was like, remember, they've always said that they start planning for the next showcase at the end of the current one, and she didn't actually take over until like February, so it's only been a couple months. And at that point, maybe a lot of stuff was already locked in. And I don't know. I don't know if there's any agreements between like, and I'm sure third parties are like, yeah, absolutely. Sure. We want to be able to show if we're on PS5 and whatever. Or if this is kind of where it's like, it's just too late and that's just how we plan the show and that's all the agreements are with all these companies. And it's like, we just got to roll with it because we just didn't have time. Or if it's one of these things where Asha sees this and wants to reassure people, but also like, does it actually, this is one of the things where I say is like, is this actually a meaningful comment? Right? Or is it like just to like kind of quell people's outrage or like disappointment now, where she's like, hey, I see it, it was a miss and we own it and we're talking about how to adjust for the future. Like, is that I guess the word you would use or the term you'd use is that damage control and getting out in front of it type stuff. But it's I don't know much. I don't know Asha. She hasn't been around long enough for me to be like, okay, well, with some executives, you'd be like, well, that's just damage control and that's just PR and that doesn't mean anything. And it's just like, they just want people to stop bitching and moaning or whatever. Or is it realistically, yeah, okay, like we missed it, that's our bad, and we're going to change it for the future. And then for the next, I guess the question is like, in next year's showcase or even if they have something else later in the year, like an Xbox Presents, will it just show the Xbox logo? Then I guess you would know the answer to the question of like, oh, she was serious then, right? But she did just tweet that out.
I think it is just one of them. Like, it was too late, probably, and juggling everything that was going on. I don't think that she would come out there and say like, we'll change. I don't think they'll come out and say we'll change in the future if they're not going to change in the future, because you're just kicking the can down the road, aren't you? So I really respect the fact that she came out and said that, because I don't think they would have done that before. I really don't think they would have done that before.
I don't know, Phil.
But I guess we'll have to see how it shows up next time.
Done stuff like that before, replying to
no,
people.
but Phil put the logos in there.
I know, but I'm saying like Phil would reply to people that were like had issues with certain things in the past.
Oh, sure, like when they increased the price, the annual thing of the price of. Yeah, sure, but I mean, like, I don't think Phil would have. I don't think they would have admitted this was a miss. I think they would have doubled down on it, because at the end of the day, it is a dumb thing. It's like Fuzzy Tomato in chat says, you probably had no idea how much a bunch of full-grown men care about logos, and it is a dumb thing. Like, it is dumb. Like, why wouldn't you want to know where this game is going to launch instead of having to like open up an AI and ask a Copilot or something, or ask Google? You know, why wouldn't you want to know all the information up front from all the studios, like PlayStation, Nintendo? Like, every time Nintendo announces something or PlayStation announces something, we have this big rush to find out, like a Windows Central, like find out what games are actually launching on Xbox so we can write an article about it. And that's great for clicks. Don't get me wrong. Like, the article that we write, the PlayStation games that are coming out for Xbox from their showcase, that's a great article. It's great for clicks. But as a consumer, I'm sitting there thinking like, why do you want to advertise your competitors? And it's not just PlayStation, it's Google too. Like, the whole this is an Xbox thing, like, oh yeah, buy an Android phone. This company wants to destroy you. Why do you want to advertise that shit? So it's just that sort of like, it's about the brand appearing strong, you know, and not only like, you're not only thinking like, how does it appear strong to me? How does it appear strong to other people? You know, so I suppose a lot of it is like being an armchair kind of brand manager, I suppose. I don't fucking know. We'll see what happens next year. Fucking logos, man.
Fucking logos. We got Murray, who says, hello, Rand and Jez. The Xbox podcast from today just killed all my hype I had again for Xbox. All this talk about Renegade Spirit, back to Xbox, we are Xbox, and then they just do not even drop competing platform logos from trailers. No Helix news too. Was it all just smoke and mirrors? What do you think? Well, the Helix stuff I wasn't really expecting. Because, I mean, if I'm 50-50 if it even launches next year with all the memory shit and the prices. They could easily just hold off. So I wasn't really expecting it. Plus, with the 25th anniversary, I thought there would be a show in November. And I think that's when you could talk about the future of Xbox, realistically. So I wasn't expecting any Helix shit at the show. The logo stuff, we've had a conversation about it, and we just read the Asha thing, so there's that whole discussion. No reason to go over it all again. So, yeah. Bilal says, hey guys, hope you're doing well. Just saw Matt Booty's interview, and I still can't believe they'll be showing other platform logos. This is one of the dumbest things ever done, and they have done some incredibly dumb things over the past 2 years. Generally, guys, exclusive or no exclusive, how does it make sense in any world? This should be the bare minimum, at least for the platform. Anyway, what do you guys think those hard decisions are that Asha's talking about? I think this could mean some Game Pass changes, maybe a separate, more expensive first-party day and date tier, maybe no day and date, but I think hard decisions could also mean the opposite. It sounds stupid, but it could also mean focusing just on your platform in the future, forgetting the PlayStation revenue or maybe even the Steam revenue. Those are hard decisions from Microsoft's perspective in order to grow their own ecosystem. I mean, I guess, yeah, that's true. Like hard decisions, like actually we're going to be giving up the revenue from all these other platforms. I mean, that would be hard to do. So, I mean, I guess you could make an argument for that being like, something, yeah. Matt has already said there will be No talk of strategy in the showcase, though I find it interesting. He mentions that clearly showing they are well aware of the public sentiment and what the core audience wants. As for my prediction, I think the showcase ends before the Gears Direct with the next mainline Halo, and there is also no PS5 logo, saving Jez's beard. Ending with Halo next. I've thought about that. Not a fan. I think you're also talking about a game years and years away. So I don't.
We end up in the situation like when they announced, Master Chief with the cape and stuff, and then that whole vibe just never materialized.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to Master Chief's cape, bro? I like that look for him, dude. Not gonna lie.
So.
Yeah, I think it's too early.
I mean, the hard decisions could be exactly what you said. Me and Jez spitballed. Maybe it's more to do with layoffs, studio closures, stuff like that. Maybe like you mentioned, Game Pass changes, whether they're for good or for bad. I mean, there's a lot of different things that could enter into what hard choices could be.
Yeah.
Nitram says, "Hey guys, Jez, which one do you think is more open, Xbox or Steam? Is Valve preventing us from using other stores like Epic Game Store or GOG on our Steam Decks? Is it not more likely that Valve will continue to open and continue to allow any standard Linux Flatpak package on SteamOS in the future than it is that Xbox Project Helix will allow stores like GOG or Steam? In the last podcast episode, it sounded like you want Xbox to prevent Steam on Helix. I'm confused. Are you arguing for or against openness?"
I mean, again, it's kind of like if you do it and then your competitor doesn't, you kind of fuck yourself up, right? When we were talking in the last podcast, I think he's talking about Xbox 2+1. We were kind of doing this thought experiment where Valve has shown signs, in my opinion, Valve has shown signs that they do want to eventually work towards a closed ecosystem. The fact the Steam Deck controller, the Steam controller, whatever, doesn't support the Xbox PC store, doesn't support X input for no reason other than I think, Valve wants to build its own ecosystem, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. But I think if you are a Microsoft and you are sort of like, it's like the logos discussion. It's like the logos discussion. If you're the only one being kumbaya about it, everyone else will take advantage of you. So like, I do think like Valve, everyone says like, oh, Steam Deck's so open, but it's also like, it's incidentally kind of not open because Linux sucks. So it's like you can say it's open, but all the sort of the issues that come with running software on the side on a Steam Deck is just, it makes people not want to bother doing it, right? So I don't trust Valve to stay open, right? I do not trust them to stay open, is my point. So in a thought experiment kind of way, I was thinking about questioning whether or not Xbox should go headfirst into that universe without maybe doing a more considered approach about what the long term might look like. Because they betted on Android being open, they betted on like all this other stuff being open, they betted on PlayStation maybe playing nice if they did multi-platforms, maybe PlayStation doing multi-platforms. All we've seen PlayStation do is go less exclusive. So I'm just kind of like, yeah. I just wonder, it was a thought experiment. Do I trust Valve to stay open? Not really. So I just don't want Microsoft to like go headfirst into that universe and end up helping their competitors, which they seem want to do these days. That was kind of like where I was coming at with that one. But again, it was just a thought experiment, and I could be wrong. And as you all know, I'm very cynical. I want to believe that Valve's like the good guy. I want to believe that, but Valve stepped on a big rake this week themselves, and people aren't happy about it. Never trust a corporation. Is the rule of thumb.
Yeah, Shay Elephant says, Happy Friday, Rand Jez. If Helix is going to offer free multiplayer capability, how will Xbox plug the financial hole they are earning from the current Game Pass Essential Xbox Live users? Will they start charging for cloud saves, Xbox Play Anywhere? Well, like me and Jez says, I think it would only be free for owners of Helix, which may not even be that many. And they might be playing a premium to get the console, so, maybe it's one of those things where, it costs us $800 to make it, and we're selling it to $1,000, so we're already profitable or whatever on it. And maybe those hardcore users already have Ultimate, so they're already paying for it already. So even though it is free, they're still paying for Game Pass Ultimate, so they're not really losing anything. But and those Game Pass Essential Xbox Live users would still be on, previous generation where you would need that to access multiplayer. So that's at least the way I think of it. Chris M says, Evening, gentlemen. Hope you're having a great one so far. I'm here with my predictions for the Xbox Showcase, and that is Wuthering Waves will be shadow dropped on Xbox into Game Pass with the standard benefits during the showcase. That's a good shout. I like that. It was already revealed for a July release earlier this year, but now that Kuro Games, during their live stream this morning, announced the 3.4 banner, more importantly known as the Cyberpunk collaboration, will go live on June 8th, the day after the showcase. I can't see how they don't move that release up for the collab. This isn't your standard collab. In addition to Rebecca being given as a free character and a special currency to pull Lucy, the story itself for the collab was co-written by one of the Edge Runner writers. There will be a full-on story with the Wuwa and Edge Runner characters that will include segments in Night City, including Adam Smasher as the main boss, and there's been hints to David as part of the story. This is going to be the biggest event to draw new players, and to miss this opportunity at Xbox seems incomprehensible to me. I'm curious what odds you'd give this prediction to come true next weekend. Hope you both have a great show, and I can't wait to see what Xbox has in store for us next week. I mean, I like that prediction. I'm down for it. I don't know anything about Wuthering Waves, but a shadow drop announcement at the show, I could easily see that being happening, right, Jez?
What shadow drop? Sorry.
Oh my God, you didn't pay attention to a single thing, did you?
I did.
Wuthering Waves.
Wuthering Waves. No, you said Woowa.
No, Wuthering Waves, Jez.
Wuthering Woowa. That's Woowa. That's Woowa.
Chris M says Wuthering Waves he thinks will be shadow dropped, and he gave a whole bunch of reasons why, and you didn't pay attention to it. So, do you agree or disagree?
I agree. Shall I go more than agreeing?
Oh,
I'm gonna bet money that it'll be there.
All right, well there you go. Jez is betting money. Solway Ghost says.
Oh wait, no, hang on. I'm mixing up my games that begin with W.
Oh.
Hang on, let me just double check this shit.
Okay.
Isn't there another game that begins with W that's similar? Where the Winds Meet or something like that?
Wuthering Waves and Where the Winds Meet aren't exactly similar.
Oh. They both begin with W.
They do, but then a lot of games begin with
W. I'm gonna say both of them show up there.
Okay, well there you go.
Right.
Soulway Ghost to say, guys, any word on further performance updates coming to the Oblivion Remastered? With the state of the game is still 1 year later, as shown by various YouTube channels, including Digital Foundry, it makes me nervous for the upcoming Fallout remasters, especially if Virtuous is developing. Maybe an update for all platform hits alongside the Switch 2 version? One can hope, cheers. I haven't heard anything.
I just want to say that like Ash's tweet created a flurry of work stuff I had to do, so that's why I was a little bit distracted. But that's what happens when you're doing a live show and then people drop news in the middle of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is what it is. I've got to write that up in a minute because there's nobody else online. So I was just preparing my computer to write that up.
James Sorry about that. M. Harris says, Jez, do you think we get an update trailer for Elder Scrolls 6 that announces the title and the setting? We know the game is in the works and likely 2028-ish, but this would be a nice acknowledgement by Todd of the importance of the Xbox 25th anniversary. What was your prediction? You predicted it would be there, right?
Which game, sorry? Sorry, man.
Elder Scrolls 6.
at this showcase or the 25th
Yes, the
anniversary?
showcase.
Yeah, I said it wouldn't be there.
Okay, so
I think
the
it's
answer
too
to
early.
that, James, is no.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be there.
Here's another one for you from Laserwolf Jez. So pay attention. Will there be a new version of the Xbox Ally X announced soon? Trying to decide if I should get one before the inevitable price increase or wait for a new model.
I think it would just I think you should just go for this one, man. Just go for this one.
There you
I
go.
don't think there'll be a new model anytime soon. And if there is, it'll just be like an OLED kind of thing. I don't think it'll be like a new chip. I'll go for this one. Although, on the topic of chips, and this is only a quick tangent, all throughout the show, Nvidia, Nvidia, ARM, Microsoft, and Windows have all been teasing something. So a lot of people think what's going to be announced next week is the first Nvidia ARM PCs, because Qualcomm lost its exclusivity to ARM chips. So those Nvidia ARM chips could change the game for handhelds. So keep an eye out for that one. But I still think you should just get an Xbox Ally X. The prices ain't coming down anytime soon.
We got Logan Myers. Says, hey guys, hope all's well. Question, have either of you heard any buzz around new Crash and Spyro titles? Feel like it could be prudent of Xbox to embrace these legacy IPs they inherited from Activision. I mean, the rumors are that Toys for Bob is working on Spyro 4. So,
And there was a leak, not a leak, but Activision filed a new Crash Bandicoot trademark today, I think, for TV shows, movies, and animation. So it does sound like they're moving to do something with the Crash Bandicoot.
and you saw like Korea
IP.
had a new ratings for Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2, right? Are they remastering those?
I guess maybe.
Are they announced at the Xbox showcase?
Maybe that could be in the backwards compatibility layer.
They already are in back compat though.
Oh.
What if it's a straight up
like
remaster?
In a sort of honor? Maybe it's more like honoring the past.
Well, I mean, remember
then.
they did remaster Modern Warfare 1 and 2. Maybe they do the same thing for Black Ops 1 and 2.
Oh yeah, like
I don't know. I saw that as
card?
like a thing about like, hey, they rated this, and it's like, why do they do this? We'll see. Pat Rock says, do you think Xbox will have some form of smart delivery between the Xbox PC and Xbox games? Like if a game doesn't come to the console, say like World of Warcraft, there's a little icon that shows the Helix symbol letting you know that's probably the PC version, but optimized for the Helix. Because I imagine smaller devs will release games only on the Xbox PC apps. It's supposed to be seamless. But big publishers like EA and Ubisoft will probably not release games on the PC store, but will on the console store. I mean, I think it's just one store. I don't think there'll be like, there's a PC store and a console store. I think it's just one store. And there probably will be some form of smart delivery where like it downloads the best version for your system, I guess. Maybe.
I think it'll be smart delivery, and it'll just download the best version for your system. Yeah, I think because like that they announced the new package manager system, which like you put all your game packages into one big Dropbox kind of thing, and then the device knows which version to pull down. It'll be super simple. It'll be super simple, man.
Silas says, good day. I've noticed since the Matt Booty podcast, some of the major Xbox content creators are crying away as usual because they're stuck in the past, looking back fondly on the days of exclusives and when Xbox was legit trying to compete. You guys know these folks well, and I'd love to know if they're ignorant with basic economic tenets, understanding of the gaming market, and Xbox's place in it, or are they just putting on an act to get views and stir the pot with their base? I'm assuming it's the later because of the thought of grown men and women getting all riled up about logos on a card and exclusivity is kind of pathetic. Well,
not wrong.
I don't know. I mean, it can't be in somebody's head and tell you exactly how they feel or what reasons they do things for. But, you know. Talking about logos.
Yeah. It is silly when you zoom out. But it's just one of them. Your competitors don't do it and they're taking advantage of you, and it looks like it just gives you the impression that they don't want to compete. You know, it's a dumb thing, but it's also not a dumb thing. It's a dumb thing, but it's not a dumb. It's weird, man. It's weird.
But I don't know, Silas. How do you feel that then Sasha came out and said it was a mistake, though? Like, do you believe her? Do you believe that is like? Do you think she's engaging in honest to God like feedback where it's like, oh, it's a miss by me. I take ownership of it. We're talking about how to rectify that moving forward. Do you think it's just a smokescreen and just like doesn't mean anything? It's just whatever they got to say to quell the fans. It's just damage control, type stuff. Kind of curious to see your thoughts.
It's a dumb thing.
It's a dumb thing.
But it's not. It's a dumb thing, but it's not a dumb thing.
Let's see. What else we got? We have Champagne Supernova says the community is inconsistent. Also, the gamertag boys, but they are vocal that Fable being multipad is the right move, but silent on Wolverine. Why?
I mean,
don't know.
I do often see that where it's like there is a layer of content creators where it's like it's okay for others to have exclusives but not Xbox, and it's irritating. It's like it is irritating. Like, can't you see why people who use this ecosystem might want Xbox to stick around? And it's like, if people don't buy into the ecosystem, it's not going to stick around. So I'm going to lose all my games. I'm going to lose access to all my games. Do I think Microsoft's going to like let me? Are they going to like keep making Xbox Series X hardware forever? Of course not. So like I want them to stay. I want them to stick around. So the logic is there, and why don't you apply that logic to Nintendo and the others? Like they're the ones that gatekeep it. It's not Xbox that they should be mad at. They should be mad at the others who Xbox wanted to grow the industry by going multi-platform, wanted to help devs, and have like Microsoft was the ones who were like, they forced Sony to open up to crossplay. They do not get enough credit for that. Microsoft are the ones who forced them to open up to crossplay. Even though, by the way, PlayStation still puts a tax on developers who use crossplay. So they're still like actively making it worse for people who do want the audacity to have crossplay, right? But why don't you hold them to account? That's where the debate should be. Why isn't PlayStation going multi-platform? It shouldn't be like, why is Xbox flirting with the idea of going back to being exclusive? I don't know. It does bug me though. Rand, that's the Xbox tax, isn't it?
Mr. Supernova says market leaders rule with an iron fist. Sony and Nintendo with 30 years in the market dominate because they crush competition and show zero mercy. Being nice or playing positive gets you nowhere. Pitterman says not having a first-party chat pad is a travesty. I never used any of the chat pad stuff, but I know people who love it.
Well, the new Xbox controllers don't even have the port for the chat pad.
I saw that.
Rest in peace.
Analog AI says why people don't have the same passion about 8K DV. I don't know.
8K DV?
I have no idea what that is, but I don't know.
Yeah. That's why there's no passion, because I don't know what it is.
Pigeon Gaming says, based on Ashla's comment, I think Double Fine's in trouble. Keeper and Kiln peaked under 200 players in Steam and listed very low on Xbox most played list. I mean, assuming, it could be, if they're really going to do studio closures, it very well could be what Jez suggested. Xbox does try to, let studios go independent, like they did with Toys for Bob. They tried to find a buyer for Hi-Fi Rush Studio, which escapes me at the very moment. My mind is blank. Was the studio that made Evil Dead or Evil Within and Ghostwire Tokyo, Jez, and Tango Gameworks? They let them go independent and stuff. So it's certainly possible if they might be like, hey, we'll help you go independent rather than just shutting you down. So if that's even the hard choices that they're talking about, but
yeah,
either way, I think that's the end of the show because I gotta get going here. I got like 5 minutes before I gotta go. But it was it was a wonderful show.
I didn't expect Asha to drop that in the middle of the show. Sorry about that, guys.
There probably won't be a show next week because Keeley's will be on during the time of the podcast. But me and Jez should be back on like Tuesday, and then we'll have a regular show Friday potentially. So a lot of stuff going on, a lot of shows going on next week. So there'll be a lot of stuff to talk about. So thank you for being here with us during this whole time. Logos. Who I didn't think waking up today that the main topic would be about logos. That was not a nice surprise because it's such a dumb thing to talk about, but it is what it is. But hope everybody has a great weekend. Check out our sponsor, surfshark.com/XB2 for 86% off a 2-year deal. Patreon.com/XB2. Get a bunch of perks. Jez made it all cheaper for everybody. And yeah, we will see everybody when we see you after the showcase. Hope everybody keeps it gaming. And we'll see you later.
Take care, everybody.